Send. That's odd. It doesn't seem to be sort of working. Let's have a look.
So we'll just give everyone a chance to get on here.
Just getting everything live. So, okay, it looks like it's working. Just let me, I got to share this. Just give me a second, folks. How's everyone's day been so far today? Just while I'm doing this, yeah, you can see here that your chats will actually come in here, come on screen now. It's a bit of an improvement. So, and it's been a while. I haven't been on here for a while, so I'm glad to be able to get on here and have a chat to you all. Let me just add this post here. Paste. There we go. Post that. Wow. All right, I'm going to get into it. So, guys, Frothy Friday. It's been a while, I must admit, since I've come on. Probably been about a month actually, but going to get back into doing my weekly routine here. Got some good guests lined up for the next month that are going to come in and kick butt when it comes to what we're doing here. But yeah, I just wanted to really just come on and do a bit of a reflection. G'day, Clarence. How you doing, buddy? Clarence, if anyone's watching that's got lawyers or any legal friends that are looking to get any marketing done, Clarence is the man to speak to. So yeah, good to see you, Clarence. Thanks for jumping on. Yeah, so this is going to be an Ask Me Anything session. It's going to be pretty casual. First things first. Again, Beanley. I'm waiting for my sponsorship. It will come at some point because it's my favorite drink and it's cracked. Cheers to everyone on Friday. It's been a long week this week, especially for me. But yeah, we'll go into that in a little bit more detail. But I just wanted to sort of start by just catching everyone up. The reflection on last year especially. And this is going to be an Ask Me Anything. Just come in here and ask the questions you need to. Oh, Dave, you need to hang around because I've got a big part of this live stream is going to be about what we've been doing together. So yeah, this is an Ask Me Anything session. It doesn't have to be about the agency. It could be about how I got started in the agency, how it all came about, what it's like to run an agency, what it's like to do SEO, backgrounds. Yeah, I'm pretty much only open to anything. Tony, okay, guys, if you get a chance, Tony's doing this really cool live stream. Okay, for those who don't know how hard it is to do a live stream every day, speak to Tony because she's doing a live stream every day for the next year. So make sure you get on there. Now, I believe it's outsourcing like a boss. Make sure to throw your group into the feed here, Tony, and I'll post it up here. Yeah, go and follow Tony because yeah, she's got some great insights. She's a killer. She's got several businesses and has a good foot in both brick and mortar and the digital space. So throw us your feed, Tony, and I'll whack it in here and leave it up here for a bit. But yeah, this is going to be just a retrospect on last year, reflections on some of the things I felt we did well as an agency, some things I felt we didn't do as good, some of the achievements, some of the failings. I'm just going to keep it real today. So please, yeah, jump on. If you guys have any questions you wanted to ask about running an agency and the logistics or anything about anything, I'm pretty open today. I never really planned on coming on. So this is all you guys today. So, and I left in the thing. If anyone wants to come on and have a board, feel free to jump into this link here. And that will actually allow you to come on the stream in real time. So, that if that's something that piques your interest, please jump on and we can have a chat. So I'm just going to share this quickly to a few digital marketing groups just to make sure here we go. So guys, outsourcing like a boss tribe. Hit up Tony. She's very, very interesting. She has a very, very interesting insight. She has her fingers in a lot of pies, and that really makes her qualified to speak speak. Now I'm just going to add myself to a few groups here. Just oh, cool. Okay. Well, you make sure you get your everything aligned there, Dave. And once I see you come on, I'm just going to post this here, guys. Running a digital agency, AMA, right here. Ask me any questions you like, and I'll answer on air. Sorry, guys, I should have done this before I came online, but you know, again, man. Okay, so that's that one, and I'm just going to do the same thing on the DMA group. Maybe might get a few digital marketers in there. Okay, let's get this on here. Tony's got that. I'm almost there, guys. Doing a digital marketing agency, AMA. Ask me anything you like. Okay, cool. That's done. All right, so Tony, so happy to jump on. Yeah, Dave, come on whenever you're free. I'll just change my program. This is for those who that's my programming. So I'm going to get through those 5 things. You can see, Dave, you're on the list. You were on the list anyway. So feel free to come on and we can have a chat. It's funny. So one of our clients, Katie over at Pretty Brave Fitness. I was talking to her the other day, and she does bullet journaling now. I used to do bullet journaling years ago, and I did it for a very long time, and I loved it. But I just haven't done it recently. I don't know. I just fell off the wagon. But what I am planning to do, and I'd love to hear someone's thoughts if they've got one of these. I'm thinking of buying, another friend of mine, Callum over at Optimize Online, has a Remarkable 2, which is like an e-ink e-reader, but it's for note-taking as well. I'm thinking of getting an Onyx Books, which is a similar thing, but it's you take notes with a pen on a e-tablet, basically like an e-ink one. I'm thinking of getting one of those and having another crack at it. So yeah, that's on my list. But last year, guys, what a year. I think anyone that's watching today, a lot of our audience is small businesses like myself. It was a hell of a year. I think you know, we were pretty sheltered over here in the West. You know, like him or dislike him, Mark McGowan has done a good job of keeping this state safe. I would say probably to the detriment of the economy a little bit, but you know, look, I'd rather have my health than have money. Yeah, it was you know, it was pretty tumultuous. You know, like My Online Guy officially started on the as My Online Guy, not as like doing digital marketing, but as the actual entity itself, started on the 18th of December 2019. I've been going along before that, but I just didn't have a name. So My Online Go, it was a hell of a year to start a business. I would say that it gave me, you know, looking at it positively, it gave me the leg up I needed to get established and get that much above the noise. Oh yeah, Tony, so true. Like that, the book. I've been doing a lot of research, and I'm going to do it. So that's the books is going to be ordered. It's just not cheap. That's all. So if someone wants to buy me one or sponsor this, you know, I'm always open to that. But yeah, it was you know, it was a really weird year. We started the business, and I managed to, you know, like I'm going to give people a little bit of background about how I actually got started in this. So a lot of my friends and family know, you know, my background. I was in the Navy, as you can see. I've got the medals here. You know, I did almost 10 years in the Navy. I did electronics and did hydraulics. Worked on weapons, basically. So the big, this here, that's my favorite photo from when I was in the Navy. That's the gun I used to work on there. 5-inch gun, fires a bullet 21 nautical miles, and then Harpoon missiles, which are behind it. And then these are the 3 guys I worked with on the ship. Unfortunately, one passed away, committed suicide a few years back, but one of them. So yeah, but it's I leave those there. You know, obviously they're a great talking point, but I think they you know, just represent a bit of my past. So yeah, anyway, left the Navy, then moved into agriculture. And that's probably where most people know me from, is agriculture and what I did there. I worked with Boken Machinery. I ran one of their dealerships, had a great time. But what a lot of people didn't know while I was still in the Navy is I basically would come home every day and just jump on the internet and build stuff. So like, I'd be in the Navy, come home, and the Navy, while it's a great job and it's a great career, it's very, very procedure based. There's no delineating from the procedures, which really didn't sit super well with me as a person that likes to think outside the box. And I used to get a lot of trouble because I'd try and do things in a way that they weren't supposed to be done because it was more efficient or better. But the Navy has procedures in place because they need to make sure that you can lean on those standards if it hits the fan. Like if something happens and the ship's under attack, everyone needs to be able to rely on their lowest training, and that's why they do it that way. So it's completely understandable. So after work I'd get home, build websites, and I really got really deep in the affiliate marketing space. So for those who don't know what affiliate marketing is, it's basically like where you take someone else's product and you market it on their behalf for a commission. Now, my flavor of that was content. So I used to create blogs basically, and there'd be forward driving blogs, all this kind of stuff, and then just look for things to sell on behalf of others, write about them, rank it, and then get a commission, generally 5% of their sales. It was always a casual part-time thing for me. I did it after work just because it was like, we didn't have kids at the time, so it was get home, give Pauline a kiss, and then just start hacking away on the computer, basically building websites, messing around, doing that kind of stuff. It paid for all my toys. It was sort of our compromise. Pauline said I could have toys as long as I was paying for them with an income outside of my primary source of income. So that's why I got so good at it, is because like I wanted my toys, and to be able to get the toys, I need to be able to do that. So what it did, I'd been doing that, I've been doing that for 10, 11 years now, something like that, 9, 10 years. Long story short, we got to the point where Pauline was getting quite homesick, and we were getting quite homesick. We're both from Mandurah, getting quite homesick, and we wanted to come back. And at the time, I was running an agricultural dealership, and I said to Pauline that I'm going to struggle to get employment in Mandurah at the time. This is last year. At the time, with the skill set that I have, even though it's a very valuable skill set, it's very centric to agriculture. So I said to Pauline, I'll just take on a few clients, and then the rest is history. Now Dave's just jumped in, so I'm going to whack him in because he's probably sitting there with no context of what's happening. So I'm just going to add him in and let Dave introduce himself. But I'll talk. I was going to talk about this anyway. I'll go back to my story after this, but I was going to talk about this anyway. The team and I have been working with Dave for the last 2 months, basically, and it's been a game changer for us. So I'd love to introduce Dave and talk a little bit about what we've been doing with him and what he's been doing for us. All right, so Dave, are you there?
G'day.
Can you hear me?
Oh man, yes, I'm here. Man, you didn't have to. I was enjoying your story. Actually, it was. Yeah, can you hear me?
I gotcha. Yep, I
can you hear me fine?
Yes. You there?
Okay, cool. Just checking. I've just got my new HD cam up in the office. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
How was the move?
So mate, I was enjoying your story.
How was the move?
Oh, mate, I've got more bruises than. Yeah, it was challenging. I'm beaten up. I feel like I've back in my Taekwondo days when I was in state championships. I've got more bruises on me now than I had then. So,
it's not fun moving.
But it's good.
We got very lucky. So as Dave knows, I'll just quickly mention it. We've been looking for somewhere to live. Basically, we got caught up in this minutiae of the rent moratoriums. Our landlord wanted to increase the rent, but couldn't do it without us. We managed to get 11th hour agreement with our existing landlord, and we're staying in the current house, which is really good. So that's one less stressful thing to add. We don't have to move in March. I can't, while I was in the Navy, we moved 15 times, and then we moved 6 while I was in the Weaver. So we moved 21 times in 10 years. And I said to Pauline, the next house when we buy a house, that's the house. I'm dying in it. I'm sorry. I'm not moving again. That's it. So, one of the things people don't appreciate when you start a business is that you actually have to have So we can't buy a house yet because we haven't technically been in business for 2 years, and they need that kind of history. So we always intended to stay in this house for a bit, and then after a couple of years, we would actually go ahead and buy. But and then we were making contingencies. But plans back on track. But yeah, no, it's good to see you, Dave. I'm glad the move went well and you're back in your
Yeah,
settled in.
thanks, mate. Yeah, it was fun. Like it was. People ask me like, why didn't I just hire someone to do the move and everything, which we could have easily done. But like I miss the physical labor. I don't know about you, but like I just like I do workout and everything like that. But I just the physicality of moving and the physical labor, because I don't get to do much of that in my role. Yeah, so it was really awesome to be able to do that. But 4 days later, like after 4 days of moving and cleaning house and doing that, like I'm out. I'm done.
Yes,
And
I
I
bet.
think, and I didn't mind the physicality, but probably not at my age. I remember, we moved 3 years ago, and like you, I've probably moved 4 times around the world too. So,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
one
global
thing to move
movement.
interstate and move
Yeah,
around Perth, but it's another thing to move from another country.
this one was only like 12-kilometer move that we did. So, but the new headquarters, the new home office here is fantastic. I got a full-blown studio now, plus the big office space I have here and everything in the new Circle Leadership HQ, home quarters. The it's good, man. Thanks, mate. But I just saw you jumping online, and I thought, how cool would it be to just to see what you had to say? I was really enjoying your story. So sorry to have interrupted that for
No, that's all
everybody.
good.
It'll be
That's
far
fine.
more
I'll get back
entertaining
to
than
it.
me.
No, but like I had you on my list to talk about because it's been a big part of 2021 for us, obviously. And I'll continue on with a bit of background
Yeah, please.
on how Dave and I met and what we've been doing together. So for those who don't know, Dave runs a business called Circle Leadership Global, and it's here. We just threw that up. But basically, what Dave, Dave was introduced to me through a friend of mine who owns an agency, Callum over at Optimize Online. We have very similar values, so we connected, and Callum was saying how he's been working with Dave, and it's been really good for aligning the team and him with what they actually want to achieve, value-wise, mission-wise, and just accountability. And I think that resonated with me at that time because we kind of at that stage in the business now. It's stabilized. We're doing okay, and it's about time that we actually started to mature where we're going to be. So I reached out to Dave and said, can we have a chat about what you could do for us? Just seeing how well it's worked for Dave. I was like, well, Dave and I have are friendly competitors, and I got to keep up with the competition. So like I was like, well, maybe Dave can help us. And Cam, for those who know the business, Cam's a big part of it, and I wanted to make sure that Cam, myself, and my wife Pauline, who's not here at the moment, but she's a big part of it, are aligned. So we've been working with Dave for the last 2 months now, month and a half.
Yeah, but it's probably
and
2 months now. Yeah.
And we basically, I'm going to go grab it. We've basically been working on this. It's basically our blueprint. This is my interpretation of it. So we'll see if I'm on the mark. But this is our business in a nutshell. And and there's bits missing, but they are there. These are like quarterly, but this is where we want the business to be in a nutshell in the next 10 years, basically. It's a constant iteration, but basically, a lot of businesses out there have values and missions that they have, but they're just not, they just don't mean anything. They have no substance. They're literally something that they got told they had to do by a HR department. It's like, oh, well, other businesses have this, come up with 5 values. I didn't want to just do something like that for the sake of doing it. So Dave basically became a sounding board. That's probably the best way to explain it, is Dave has become a sounding board for us in developing our values, our mission, and our goals to help us achieve that mission and those values. Dave will probably explain a little bit better, but
I hope so. No.
the cliff notes is we've written probably 60 words and it took 18 hours to do. So those are the cliff notes. They're not something that that is just thrown up in the air, and it's like what sticks to the wall. Dave has held us to task on why we chose the wording we did and why we want to do that way. I almost cried at one point. It's been a pretty full on experience, but
Yeah.
I really feel like for the first time since starting My Online Guy, we have a clear direction of where we want to be. So maybe
That's
just
awesome, man.
fix the loose ends in that, but that's essentially where we're at. And now we're at this stage where we can actually start to action some of the objectives we want to achieve, and that's what we're working on now. But yeah, go ahead, Dave.
Well, so Jimmy, yeah, you're right at the part here where there's 4 common challenges that most small businesses face. And one of them is, a lack of clear goals and expectations across the organization. Number 2 is a lack of accountability across the organization. And then number 3 is a lack of leadership depth and strength in the organization. And then the 4th one comes down to the inability to execute, right, at the highest level. So what you're working on, what you've done here is, that model business canvas that you just shared with everybody, and thank you for sharing that, is the top half of that is your culture, right? So that's your narrative of your business. And then the bottom half, the strategy component, that's the story. So your job as the leader of My Online Guy is to make sure that our narrative and our story match. So the words that we're expressing to the market about who we are and why we love doing what we do translate into the numbers in terms of your strategy. And that's how we create that culture and strategy alignment, because you'd know prior to working with me that most people, when you think about culture and strategies, culture eats strategy for breakfast, right? But what you've created for yourself there is now where your strategy is born from your culture. So your culture is like a strategy, is a shield, that wraps around your strategy and protects it. So it doesn't, it's like a mother or father protecting its child. So when you align culture and strategy, that's what you guys have done. Now, also, because you guys obviously in digital marketing in the space that you're in, culture is how we think and feel about our business. So you've created that now. You've been able to, you already had it, but you've now able to articulate it. And that's the cool part, right? So you can articulate clearly and forcefully why you guys love what it is that you do. And then we speak that love to the market, then the market can respond in kind, because culture is how we think and feel, but brand is how the market of the consumer thinks and feels about your business. So when you can make those two halves of the heart match and people fall in love with why you do what you do for them, that's where the power is. So you've got a culture and strategy alignment, you've got a culture and brand relationship, you have an innate focus now on what matters most. So every 90 days, you're moving forward on 90-day objectives, which is why those bottom halves for those other quarters were blank. And then now you have what you're about to roll into right now is the accountability process, so that you can have fast execution. And fast execution for you in your business means focus, F for focus. So innate focus on what matters most. We have 3 core objectives to work on. A, it's for accountability. So you have a system of accountability. You all know who's leading and contributing to each of those things, where and when. And then S is for simplicity. So you have a simple plan. And T is for transparency, so that everybody can see what everybody's working on. And then this is how now you take all that culture, the narrative, the strategy, the numbers, like the story, and then you pull all that together, and now you execute fast on it. And that's all the work that you guys have done. The fascinating part for you guys to take a look at, which I know you have, you remember the workbooks I gave you?
Yes.
Look what you had
written, where we were.
Look what you wrote for yourselves, and look what we created together, and how far apart those things were.
I definitely wouldn't be a writer for Hallmark. That's a
I
sure.
know. That's the important part to understand, Jimmy. For that is, and this is no different for you and what you guys. And I want to use this as a key point for why people should be using My Online Guy for the work that they want to do, whether it's SEO, digital, websites, you name it, anything. Because whenever you could say, hey, Dave, thanks for all that stuff. I could do all that myself, and you did, and you came up with what you came up with. But when you engage someone like myself, who's a sculptor, who could help you remove all the gunk and reveal what was really inside the DNA of your business, look what you've created for yourself, which you've got on the screen there. All right.
Yes, and I'll quickly run through it too. Yeah.
Yeah, and then so for when people I used to do digital marketing and stuff myself, right? Because I can do all that myself. I can do my Facebook ads. I can do all that. And the results I was getting versus working with someone like yourselves or with Callum and the gang there is so far apart. And so when anyone thinks that they can do SEO or digital marketing, yeah, you can, but you won't get the results that you're going to get with working with you guys at My Online Guy. because we'd be so far removed from
it's
what they think they could create for themselves.
it's so true. Like we had that, like I said to you, Dave, I was fully transparent. I said,
Yep.
Pauline was sort of like, well, because you were, guys, like Dave is someone that will, I think, even if maybe not in a position, he'll give you tips and advice and help to
Yep.
to
100%.
at least point you in the right direction to start the journey. And that's what he did for us. And then Pauline basically said to myself, why do we have to pay someone like Dave to help? We can come up with this ourselves. And what it really shown is that, like Dave said, I suppose technically, with enough reading time, energy, effort, you could just probably watch all your videos on YouTube and all your interviews and probably piece together what you need to do. But it doesn't have the same substance as bouncing it off someone, hearing it back, reflected back at you, and actually someone that's non-biased too. Like, if we'd done
Yeah.
this in-house, Cam, Pauline, and myself would have done it, but there would have been a bias edge towards me and what I said, just because it's, at the end of the day, I'm the head of the snake. So it's like having someone coming in that's an impartial third party that actually has no biases, and them actually, being the sounding board gives better results. And this is what we came up with. Like I said, there wasn't many words involved, but they have a huge amount of meaning, because I went through this. It's not an identity crisis. That's probably not the right word, but I definitely had this period of like 2 or 3 months where I was like deciding what I wanted my online guy to be, and I couldn't put my finger on why we get so many referrals and why we get so many people that are happy with us, and in an industry that traditionally has its fair share of cowboys. And it was frustrating to me. It was actually genuinely frustrating me that I couldn't put my finger on the secret sauce, and what actually was the USP of my online guy that separated us from, and why do people enjoy working with us? And that was the main thing I got out of the first initial
Yeah.
80 hours we got. And this is what we actually came up with. So our purpose. So this is like, and I'll get Dave to elaborate on the exact purpose, but this is like our drive. It's sort of like the when we're hiring, when we're looking for people, we want people to align with this purpose. We want our clients to align with this purpose, and our ideal clients will have this as well. And we exist as a business. So my online guy exists to combine confidence and ability into better results. So basically, there's a lot of agencies that have a whole bunch of account managers that are really confident and really good at sales, that will sell you on anything you want to hear, but maybe lack the ability. And then there's a whole bunch of people that have the ability, like in my space. I know heaps of guys that are better SEOs than myself, but maybe don't have the people skills and the confidence to be able to take that to market. So we kind of take a good mix of both, and you get better results by doing that. And then, our mission. So like if we had, go Dave.
Stop. So because you're selling yourself short, mate. So obviously your purpose that you guys have created, and this is all part of leadership and learning, right? Is to really, and this is how authentic and vulnerable you are, which is really powerful, mate. And I give you credit for that. That this is the problem that you guys are passionate. So it's not only about you, how you bring people into your organization, all this, but this is what when you're looking at being able to help people out there. If you're a small business owner out there and you're looking for a way that you have all the confidence in the work that you do, and your ability as a small business, but you should be getting better results than what you're getting right now. Well, that's a problem that you have. And so the guys at My Online Guy here are, they take their own confidence in their own ability and the results that they can generate, combine that with yours, and go, well, when we combine confidence, that yours and ours, and ability, yours and ours, you're going to get better results. So 1 + 1 = 3 when you work with My Online Guy, right? Because when you do it by yourself, it's just 1 = 1. But when you take yours and the clients and together, you're going to create 3, 4, 5, 6 for them. So this is the problem you guys are here, that you're passionate about solving the world for businesses. So any small businesses out there that's listening to this or sees this later and says, geez, we're extremely confident in our abilities and what we have to offer the market, but we're not getting the results that we think we're capable of or should be getting because of the great work that we're doing. then they should be talking to you.
100%. Yeah, and we do. Like we've discussed. I do find the clients that get the best results are the ones that, when we send them the leads, like when we generate the inquiries and they're getting the inquiries, they're on the phone and they're very confident in what they do as well. They know that they're gonna be able to fix your hydraulic cylinder and stuff
100%.
like that. And yeah, it aligns a lot. I just feed off that. I'm knowing that someone's working as hard as I am in the different vertical. I feed off that, and it really does get better results, because if they're putting their heart and soul into what they're doing, then I want to make sure that I'm putting our heart and soul into what we're doing for them. And it's easy to do that when the person on the other side's giving it everything as well. So it's not just that's probably actually something that a lot of agencies miss the mark on is like, yeah, I'm not, I'm a lot of agencies, they just are there to pluck $50 notes out of people's ears and go, okay, well, yeah, I'll take you on. So they're shaking someone's hand and smiling while plucking $50 notes out of their ears. And I think, you can pretend like that's not what it is. But all sales, like at the end of the day, my job is to produce a profit in this agency, and I'm never going to pretend like it's not. But we also make sure that if we're going to be plugging $50 notes out of your ears, we're also going to be putting $100 notes in your pocket and going, okay, well, you give us 50, we'll put 100, we'll take that out of this year and put 100 in your pocket. And that's where I think most agencies miss the mark, is they just go, yep, pluck, 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 pull, just extract. Without actually giving anything back, not giving enough back to justify how much they're taking out. And, I think most businesses are like that. It's all, at the end of the day, if you don't make a profit, you don't survive. But I think, a lot of agencies are just so, I don't know. It's just something definitely I noticed. And I think I feel guilty when we're not at least doing our very best to get those results, because you're paying for a service, and we do charge a premium, but if you're getting a return on that, or at least getting a lot of value out of that, then it's less about plucking the money out of the ears and more about what you're putting in the pocket. So
Jimmy, everyone and anyone watching and listening to this again, once again, ask yourself the simple question: are you willing to pay for value? And in the absence of value, you go for the cheapest price. So, you don't charge a premium for what you do. You provide premium results, and that requires the right investment. And this is important for all of us to understand the way we look at this. You offer a premium service is what you do, and the price to value ratio in that is appropriate.
Yeah,
right?
That's
and that's
exactly
look at that. So, and so your purpose there for this, in this case, for anyone who's, read or heard of Simon Sinek or read any of his books or watched any of his videos, Simon Sinek will always tell you, people buy why you do what you do. So you've got, your sense of purpose as to this is why people buy. If you're looking to combine your competence and ability into better results, well, that's why people will buy. But your values, which I'd love you to talk about next, are why they buy it from you. So Simon will tell you people buy why you do what you do, but myself, Dave Clare, I'll tell you that your values are why they buy it from you. So if you look at the values, this is what makes you guys unique in the way you think about combining competence and ability into better results.
And Andre, I just brought it up on the screen here. Good point. Show value, give value, receive worth. That's a very succinct way to put it. But you shouldn't be, you got to give to receive too. And I think, again, putting stuff behind walls. And that's why it was really good to, initially, Dave, when you came down here and you gave us basically the blueprint on how to do it. Doesn't mean we can execute on it, but I got a lot of, I went back and actually went, okay, well, he's very sincere about this. He's willing to sort of show us the secret sauce. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean I'm going to be able to do it though. And that's been always our philosophy. Is I do a lot of screencasts for clients, and I'll spend half an hour on these just talking about exactly what I will do. And it's like, you can do all this. It's not like none of it's secret. It's all on Google. It's all on YouTube. But I haven't had a client yet that's done it themselves. They're kind of like, well, you know what you're doing. Can you do it for us? Because if I had time to do it myself, I would have done it already. So You
Yeah.
know, that's the fair exchange of value then becomes more of it what it's about.
Yeah, but
Okay, so
also just very quick on that point, just to wrap up on that, this is really cool and important thing that I challenge everybody on, and it ties into that is it's one of my Clarisms, and it is do what you do best and outsource the rest.
oh, Tony's gonna love that. Oh, she love
Right?
that's her favorite saying in the world.
Yeah, I saw that outsourcing thing. Yeah, do what you do best and outsource the rest. Like the more we all focus in on what we do best and outsource or source the rest, whatever, outsource or source the rest, you need to be the best you can be so your team can be the best that they can be. Your team need to be the best it can be to provide the best service to our clients because our clients deserve our best. So anything that we're doing that is not our best, when we're doing something just because we think we'll save money from it. I mean, I just did this post up on something else, I think on LinkedIn, which is why it's so important. Then you're diluting what's best. So I outsource everything that is not what we do best because my clients deserve the best. And so why would I give them something I'm pretty dangerous at or really good? Like I could give them marketing advice, social media advice, accounting, HR. I have an ecosystem where I outsource that to the best, right?
100%.
And so
Yeah.
just because you can do it yourself doesn't mean that you should, unless it's what you do best.
It's so true. I think
Yeah.
Paulie and I have this argument a lot about mowing the lawn, and
Yep.
look, some people enjoy doing that stuff, and they do it as a therapeutic thing more
Yeah.
than anything else. I can't, I have it in my head that, for better or worse, that time, especially with what I do, because you can do it from anywhere, that time that I'm mowing the lawn, I could be generating a profit with it. But it really is just a thinly veiled guise that I just don't want to do the mowing. And I said that
Yeah.
to Paul. He's like, the $40 it costs us to get someone to mow the lawn and carry it up to the next tier and all that. I said it's such a small cost relative to the amount of time I get to spend with the boys or doing work or even just playing computer games or whatever, doing something else that I enjoy. It's like actually, like it's worth that because the amount of time and energy I put into this business, I deserve to be able to have a bit of that time back myself.
Mate, absolutely.
So I'll quickly touch on the values here. So this is for anyone that's interested. This is Circle Leadership. Now I found the My Kajabi. So Kajabi is a tool for managing this kind of thing, but this is Dave's business, and it's definitely worth having a look at. A lot of the stuff we're talking about here is covered off on the website as well. So the values we sat down and we came up with these values together, and Dave was when I said I mean Cam, myself, and Pauline, we came up with these values, and Dave was there to help sculpt them. And I'd love to have my initial book here. Actually, is it up here? No, it's not. Pauline's got it, and see the original values I came up with. Hey Cam, do you mind just checking Pauline's things there to see if you can find the original workbook that we worked off for Dave? But in the meantime, this is what we came up with, and these resonate with me at my core, like so much. And we basically sat down, and this is what we came up with. So ambition. So these are our core values. Ambition. So fundamental drive to reach further. Ownership. Treat it as if it's our own. Evolution. So always testing, learning, and improving. Helpfulness, going above and beyond. Communication, transparent and simple to understand. Here it is. So simple to understand. And genuine, so down to earth. I feel like those are a great reflection of why clients resonate with us. And it's definitely a good reflection. Now I'll just quickly read the ones I came up with. Because
I'm trying to remember what you had written down there.
Oh no, I don't want to remember. That's why. Okay, so these are the values that I came up with. Now, and Dave will explain why these ones are so simple, as in like minimal words. But I had both feet planted on the ground. Always take the hardest path. We need to always pass the pub test. Be obnoxiously helpful. Keep yourself accountable to the team, and take ownership of everything you touch.
They were
So
pretty good though. They were like at least they were not the commonplace corporate rhetoric, service, honesty, integrity, trust.
yes,
As you
yes,
know,
yeah, that's right.
those SHIT values, as I call them. The I didn't want to say shit on your show. I'm not sure if that's allowed. The like, so if you look at that, the more commonplace your values are, the less believable they are. Now, so there's extremely practical ones. So those things like service, honesty, integrity, trust, they're all what I call price of entry into business. You shouldn't be in business if you don't value service, you're not honest, you don't have integrity, you're not trustworthy. Excellence, all these other cool values that people pick because they all sound good and look good on a website. But what you've got on the other side then is, so there's very practical values. And then on the opposite side, what you've created is what I would call very magical values, which they're really cool and powerful statements. But from the intent of values, A being the unique way you think about things, but they need to be there to empower yourself and your team to make smarter decisions. So they have to be what I call practical magic. So how do we get values that are magical but practically applied? And so what we did is we just challenged what do you mean by that? Like, what was the like, take the hard road or something? Do it the hard way,
Yeah,
or
always take the hard road.
always take the hard road. Like, what does that mean? You know, like, what was that all about?
I'm just waving to Cam about this. Can you grab me another?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this because you did question me on this, and it's more like any job or anything worth doing.
Yep.
Traditionally, there's an easy way and a hard way to do it.
Yep.
And the hard way a lot of the time is the right way. It's not all of the time, but like in the Navy, we used to have that philosophy. It's like the hard way is actually, so like I said, I used to work on the gun, right? So the gun has been around since the Vietnam War, and it's had every battle tested scenario thrown at it. And there's procedures for absolutely everything. There's a 1,000-page book that goes with it. It's A3 that has all the possible things you could fix on it. The hard way is actually going, okay, well, this is broken, but I'm still going to get the book out and follow it step by step, because the easy way is to rely on your knowledge and go, actually, this is, this is the way out. See you later, Tony. Thank you for joining in. Make sure outsourcing like a boss. Make sure you get on there.
Like a boss.
Like a boss. She's honestly, it's very interesting to hear her perspective on outsourcing. So, but yeah, so that's where that came from. Is like, I just found that doing things properly and taking the hard route is generally gets you a better result than just cutting corners and taking the easy way.
Yeah, okay, but so the easy way doesn't necessarily mean cutting corners. What you're saying is take the hard way is just don't take shortcuts.
That's probably a better way to put it.
So the challenge to articulate that and explain that to people is, that's why it's like overly too magical. Like, what do you mean by that? And so, one of my core values, of course, for Circle Leadership here is, simplicity, which is freedom from complexity. All right. So how do we, remove the stuff that doesn't add value? Because my buddy Aiden Parker, he always told me, he said, Dave, the best way to add value is by removing things that don't, which is why I pull the words away from all the unnecessary words, so that you should be able to articulate what your value is and what it means in 5 words or less.
Yes.
Right. Because you now have your 6 values and 5 words for each. So there's less than 36 words to describe the whole unique way you think about your business. Right. And so, but it's practical magic, because now also when we talk about ambition at My Online Guy, it means fundamental drive to reach further. It's not your definition of ambition, Cam's, Pauline's, anyone else's definition. It is the My Online Guide definition of ambition. And so now you're ability, so this is telling all our team how to think around here, not what to think. Right? So what we're saying, here's how we think around here. Then you can filter that through your own values and your own experience that you've got over the years, and knowledge and wisdom, and then say, okay, well, hang on, if we really fundamentally had the drive to reach further, is this the best that we would have done? Is this how far we would have pushed or reached? Is this what, and so we can now start asking those questions, and you can use those to challenge yourself. And the other cool thing with your values now is, when you're looking at the clients that you want to bring on board, And this is where I find that either I look at values differently, or I think people aren't doing values to the level which they could. Is, most people say, well, we have to make sure they accept or they align to our values, right? We got to make sure our clients or our employees align to our values. What I'll tell you is all you have to do is make sure that they don't reject any of your values, because my values aren't the exact same as yours. They're not necessarily, not that they don't align, but they don't reject any of yours.
Yeah, that's right. One of your values is not unhelpful.
No,
And you
no,
like, yeah, I believe in being helpful.
yeah, so
Yeah, no, that's so
like,
true.
but none of my values rejected any of your values.
Yep.
Okay, and that's what your values are there as the guardians of your purpose, and also so we have some consistency to empower our team to make smarter decisions. And this is what makes you guys unique. You can go to any other, digital marketing agency, or for want of a better term, of the type of organization that you guys are in. And if you're looking to combine your competence and ability into better results, well, that's why people are going to buy. But if you're looking for somebody who values your ambition, who really takes ownership, and who will evolve, and who's helpful and communicates and is absolutely genuine, then you should be dealing with the guys at My Online Guy, because that's what
Yes.
makes them unique
Yeah.
about combining confidence and ability into better results.
Because it's so true. It's like, yeah, the other agencies do that most likely, like,
Yeah, in their own way.
but we've actually sat down and made a conscious decision to make that part of our business.
Yeah.
And like, we've decided that's our line in the sand, is like, this is, and it will resonate with the people it resonates with, and maybe the people that don't agree with being, always evolving or being ambitious or whatever, it probably won't resonate with them. And
That's fine. Then they maybe not
exactly,
your
it's fine.
types of people that you want to deal with. That's fine. You're an ambitious crew. You guys, like you and your whole crew, you guys are ambitious, which is awesome. And that that you believe that everything exceeds your reach, but you're reaching for it anyway, because there's a greater opportunity and better, that you're always driving in that direction. And
100%.
if you can work with other clients who feel the same way, well, then you're the guys that they should be working, because you understand them at the highest level. Any ambitious small business owner or leader out there should be talking to you about their digital marketing, because you understand ambition at the same level that they do.
Yes. It's at our core as well, like
Right, and that's what I'm
it.
talking about in terms of this is what makes you guys unique, and this is why people buy why you do what you do, but your values are why they buy it from you. Because if they're dealing with a digital marketing agency that isn't as ambitious, or doesn't believe in ambition, or doesn't understand ambition like the small business owner does, well, then they're probably not going to get the results that they could get if they went with you, because that's how you uniquely think about it.
Yes. 100. It's so true. I mean, it obviously it's something that's resonated with us. Yeah, and it ties into that vision as well, which I'll talk about
Yeah.
as well. Our vision is basically like the next 10 years, from memory. So this is like where we see a world, like this is where I want, if I could control, my little sphere. This is
It's your world.
Yes, and this
Whatever
is
you
what
guys do is your world.
Exactly. And, we see a world, so My Online Guy, it's not just myself, it's Paul and Cam as well. And, we see a world where good people are renowned for doing great business at scale. It's, there's no truer sentence on this piece of paper. There's so many good business, marketing is a double-edged sword, because it gives a platform for people that aren't very good at what they do. If they are willing to spend the time, money, and energy and effort, they can basically make themselves into whatever they want to be. And like a lot of businesses just go about their day doing good work, lean on their referrals, lean on their their goodwill. But there's no reason why they can't do that at some kind of scale that's repeatable and is less ebb and flowy. So if we can just help businesses that do good work, great work, scale up and be known for doing that kind of work, as opposed to having a business that churns and burns through people and they just get the volume, then that I would love to be involved in a world like that, and be a part of it.
Yeah, well, you guys know this, and this I remember this dialogue, but the way the way I interpreted what you guys were talking about, Jimmy, is, great marketing can make bad people look good,
Yes.
right? And there's a lot of really great people out there, or good people, great people doing great work, who look bad because their marketing isn't right.
Yes. Yes, that's so true.
Right, and that's what it is, because they're just so honed in on their craft. Once again, they're, if you have a mechanic, for example, I know you have buddies a mechanic. He's like could be the best mechanic in the world, and he's phenomenal, like probably the most intelligent, knowledgeable mechanic you'll ever meet. But bad marketing won't allow people to find out who he is. Yet there could be some dodgy, freaking rip you off mechanic down the road who's got the best marketing in town, and everybody goes there and is getting ripped off and don't even realize it, or eventually they'll find out, and eventually that business will suffer, perhaps, or sometimes it doesn't, because people don't know any better. Because the good people doing great work, nobody knows about.
Yeah. Yep.
And
It's
so I
so.
say, shame on you and shame on them if they don't combine their confidence and ability with yours to into better results, because the community deserves to know who the good people are doing great work, and in partnership you guys together can help everybody realize these are the people you should go to.
Yeah, it's so true. Like it upsets me because like I have a unique perspective because I can see through the veil.
Yeah,
I can see marketing that companies do, and just peel one layer back, and then you can kind of see what's happening behind the scenes by just looking at that second tier of information. Going, okay, well they've gotten like 700 bad reviews, yet how they've gotten to the point where they have 700 reviews in the first place. And then you can go, well, obviously they're spending a lot of money to acquire a customer, and as we all know, it's easier to keep a customer than it is to acquire a new one.
yep,
And that's what a business that does great business has the advantage over someone that just churns and burns is, you acquire a customer and you're able to keep them. It's a lot, and you can keep them for a long time. It's a lot more cost effective than acquiring new ones all the time and putting up with it. I'd hate to have a business where I was afraid to pick up the phone knowing that the person on the other line could realistically be there to go, well, I'm suing you, or you've done, you owe me money because you've done a poor job or whatever. I can't think of it. Why would you be in business to do that? But,
yeah.
again,
Hey,
it's,
like not everyone makes mistakes and stuff, but once again, it's how you choose to handle it. And there's always going to be some people who are challenging, but there's in your industry and even in mine, there's people out there who are just brilliant marketers, who are all style, no substance, who are I don't want to say ripping people off because it just sounds bad, but I can't think of any other way to describe it. They're just not delivering the value. Let's call it that. They're not delivering the value that they promised, because they're just not capable of it, perhaps, or
yeah.
they're just trying to find the easy way to what you're saying earlier, just to make they're interested in just making money, not creating value for other people.
Yeah, it's so true, and
You
this
know?
industry is notorious for it.
Yep.
It's actually, I think I've mentioned this to you. I actually dislike the fact that I play in this space. I'd love to be a part. Like I'd love to, in an ideal world, what we do should be treated like any other professional service.
100%.
But it's not that way because the barrier to entry is so low, and I've got almost 10 years of experience backing myself. But how do you quantify whether someone does a good job of this or not? And that's why it's so hard to find. I've had one business owner in particular. I remember they ended up just giving up on marketing in the end. I did everything I could to convince them, but they had spent $200,000 on marketing with 4 different companies and gotten no results. And they were like, I'm just giving up on it. I've been burnt that much by marketing that I just don't think it works. And then, in the same niche, in a different state, I've got someone generating 56 leads a month. It's like, and I explained that. I says, mate, it's like, like I can turn around and say that I'm a good at what I do, but it's probably not going to help in this situation because, like, I can only just show you work that I've done and what I was doing for you. And he was on the fence, but he's like, I just can't afford it. Like I've spent so much on it and haven't gotten the results. And that just upsets me because, like what people don't realize in this is like you're playing with people's fundamental, the difference between them surviving and not surviving could be what you do for them. And,
100%. Yeah.
we're not working with Fortune 500 companies that have, tens of millions of dollars. And it's like, okay, we'll just write off 50 grand. Like Joe Mechanic, that 50 grand could be in the difference between their kids going to a private school or not going to a private school or, something like that. And they're rolling the dice on a whole bunch of minutiae and assumptions and if they roll that dice and don't get the results, it has a fundamental effect on them. And there's so many people in this industry that just don't appreciate the gravity of the situation, and just think it's one big game because they're just like, oh, we'll find the next business to deal with. But that person's livelihood's at stake, and they just don't appreciate. Like, and I see it all the time when I quote against people that you can just tell that they just don't actually care. They're like, oh, like if it works, it works. If it doesn't, like that's on them. It's like, well,
Yeah,
actually,
but that's because you, much like myself, care more about the other person than you do yourself.
yeah,
Right?
I do.
Yeah, like you and
I'm
I
an
had a
emotional
great
person.
chat on Zoom, whatever it was, when Callum introduced us. We said, okay, let's have a quick chat. We had a quick chat, got to know a lot about you. We thought, hey, this is a really neat guy. I could see much the thing that I'll call it the frustration in your voice, which is just your ambition, the gap between where you are and where you could, you could see yourself, and struggling to get clarity around all that sort of stuff. And mate, what did I do? I jumped in a car, drove an hour and a bit down to Mandurah to go and see you, at no guarantee that anything would ever happen, but knowing that I would at least walk away, giving you some tools and some thoughts and ideas on how to help you start to find that stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I cared more about you than I did myself. And then you said, like, talked about my sincerity, so thank you for that, because it was absolutely sincere. Also, Callum, who's let's see, one of my clients, and he told me that you're a great guy, and so to honor my relationship with Callum, I'd gone down anyway.
yeah. And look, and Mandra's not the worst place to go for a trip either.
I
Like
know.
there's worse. You could be driving out to Kalgoorlie to see someone. So, but no,
One of my
it's so true. And you can,
down there, so it was also a good chance for me to catch up with him, and I hadn't gone to his place yet either. So yeah, it was all a win. But the main thing is, you and I are very alike in that sense, is that we care more about the other person and their success than we do about our own, because we're smart enough to know, and abundance enough thinking to know, that if I just serve as many people as I can and help as many people as I can, I know I'm going to do okay.
yeah, exactly.
And
And
so just don't be the world. And if you're but these other ones here that you're talking about, mate, they're worried about, how do I make a sale from you? How do I get a deal from you? How do I make money from you? How do I feed myself? Not how do I make sure that you're being fed?
yeah, and the natural side effect of make sure that you're looking after someone is they do everything they can to look after you, and I see that repeatedly. It's only recently that I've actually started to look at more direct outreach strategies to help, basically fulfill the goals that we committed to you and our objectives. Like I have to start to ramp it up, but someone will post something in a Facebook group and about like looking for a website or SEO or something. And I honestly have 6 clients just pop out of nowhere and go, "Oh, use Jimmy." And it's like, it's nice to know that people are advocating on your behalf,
Yeah.
because they genuinely, I haven't had, that's probably where I was saying about, I tell most of my clients, I don't have an unhappy client. Yeah, I have frustrated clients and I have upset clients. But I don't have unhappy clients because they just know in the bottom of their heart, I'm doing the best I can for them. And they're realistic about the expectations. So they're not going, if we don't hit a mark or hit a target, they know I haven't just been sitting there twiddling my thumbs. It's like, if we don't hit it, they know that it's been done the right way, and it means maybe it can't be hit or whatever. And it's nice to know that I have.
You're always testing, learning, and improving, right? So
Exactly, exactly.
which is part why you value evolution. So we may not hit the target, but we're going to learn from it, right? We're going to test. Okay, what worked, what didn't work. We're going to learn from it. Then we're going to improve it. Then we're going to do it again, and then we're going to learn from it. Then we're going to test and learn and improve. Test, learn, and improve.
100%. And it's interesting because there is good guys in this industry. Callum Lever, Charlie over here. He owns Shout Out Digital. He's just down the road. Another good one, Clarence, who works with lawyers. There is people that actually, and if you're watching as a business, just be aware there is marketers that actually care about your success or failure. It's just you need to equip yourself with the tools to be able to determine whether they actually genuinely do or don't. And there's a lot of agencies that do. We shouldn't be tarring everyone with the same brush, but there is a lot of agencies.
There's a lot of amazing ones out there, absolutely. But
There is.
once again, I'll be cheeky here, but they should use you to market them, because they're really good people doing great work that maybe we don't know about.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. I think it comes down to this. We were talking about this is that a good agency should be able to practice what they preach, and a lot of them do good work, but they don't put their own brand and what they do first. It's like if a plane's crashing, you don't, and you got a kid next to you, you're supposed to put the mask on yourself, so you
That's
can then
right.
put the mask on the kid. And the agency is no different. You should really do your own marketing first and make sure that that's going, and then look at how you do it for clients. Because so many. I mean, it's the biggest thing in these like digital marketing groups when you hold someone a task and they're like, "Oh, why have you got the result?" "Oh, we're too busy working on client stuff," and we. It's like, nah. Like, you need to make time to improve your own brand, because like otherwise you don't have the like, how can you have the confidence to go to others if you can't then go, well, look, everything I'm telling you to do I've done for myself, and look, if you search SEO Balcata, who comes up? It's like, you need to be able to practice what you preach. But
Yeah, we live in a world today, Jimmy, where no longer, and using the mechanic again, the mechanic can drive around in the worst car. That the shoemaker's kids walk around in the worst shoes. You have to be the product of your product. All right. And it's not for me. Like, I can't sit here and tell you that you should have purpose, values, vision, mission, and all this sort of stuff, and not have one myself.
yes,
Like,
yeah,
or
exactly.
like the accountability app that you guys will be starting with next week. Like, I use it for me. I have someone who holds me to account. One of my accountability coaches holds me to account. Like, I'm not immune from this because I do it for a living. I need to be my best customer, and no different to you as a digital marketing agency, because I want to go to the guys who are going to go, hey, I see you everywhere. I want to be seen everywhere. Help me do what you're doing for yourself for me.
Yeah, hundred
Right. And if
percent.
you're telling your clients, oh, you should be doing a podcast and you don't have a podcast, or you should be doing live streams and you're not doing live streams, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah,
Why
it's
would I
like
have you?
it's like a tattoo artist, right? Like,
Yeah,
that's a great
who doesn't have
example.
a single tattoo.
Yeah, and it's like, like, I don't, not that it actually, if you actually think about it rationally, a tattoo artist, the tattoos they have is not actually a reflection of how well they tattoo, because someone else
No,
has done it on them.
that's right.
But I don't
But
know
they
if I'd
believe in
want a
tattoos,
tattoo.
though.
Yeah, but would you get a tattoo from someone that's not covered in tattoos? I don't know. It's just like, you don't practice, you don't like, you haven't, I don't know, but like, you don't see many tattoo artists that don't have at least a few tattoos on them,
Yeah,
because they practice what they preach. They appreciate good tattoos. They aren't going to put something on themselves that they're not, like, that's the kind of thing I see. Callum chimed in. So Callum's actually Optimize Online. Guys, if you get a chance, check him out down in Vic Park there. This is who introduced me to Dave. This discussion is so on point. What I've come to learn through though, is some business owners sometimes aren't prepared to listen, learn, and are accountable when they don't invest the time doing web and digital properly. Yeah, it's a good point. I think that's something that I was saying this to Dave. It's like, we are really making a concerted effort this year to really look. So like, if you actually look, this actually ACEHOG actually spells ace hog.
yeah,
So that's our ideal clients. Us, we're ace hogs. We're the best hogs, not just we're the prize pig. So like, we're making a concerted effort this year to really look for those ace hogs. We want
yeah.
we want customers and clients that have the same values or similar values to us. And I've seen it where we've done a website that is like top tier, under the pretense that, okay, the natural next step is to do SEO, because why would they have done this website if they don't want to grow? And then like, oh no, we're actually happy with the amount of. And it's like, oh, actually, it's kind of counterintuitive to work with people like that, because they probably, we built that for a tool, for a system that they're never going to use probably. And when they probably could have got away, and it could be a failing on my behalf and not asking the right questions, but we built this website that is like would absolutely kill it from an SEO standpoint. It's a great base and everything that they're probably never going to use long term. And we want those clients now that they want to be here. They're currently here. They want to be here. Don't necessarily know how they're going to get there, but they have the ambition to be here, because I really gain a lot of satisfaction from complex, problems, that maybe aren't solved as traditionally as just grabbing a heap of links and sending it to a website. Something that's more eloquent, as we've discussed.
Yes.
That kind of thing. So yeah, you're right, Callum. Like some clients, you just it doesn't matter if you find the right. They've got to be willing to invest the time and energy into it.
Yeah, but so if you read Callum, the key word here is they aren't prepared.
Yep.
Okay? So for both you and Callum watching this, what can we do differently or better to prepare our clients to be able to listen, learn, and do the things that they need to do? It's easy to say, like, and I agree with you. Like, don't get me wrong. Like the context of the comment, I get it, Callum, and I know you've shared this challenge or frustration of sorts with me. Is that you guys do such amazing work, but it's a partnership that you need, because I know you were frustrated with me when you first started doing some stuff for me. Is to get us to be engaged and doing the things that we need to do so you can do what you do best. But it's how better to prepare our clients. Can we once again, your value is ownership, Jimmy, so treat it as if it was your own. How can I prepare my team better, than my clients being my team, to listen, learn, and do the things that we need to do? How can I understand what they're going through each day and find a way to help them create or prepare the content simply so that we can do what we need to do and do what we can do to get the results for them? So it's that, I think there's the opportunity for yourself and Callum is to, how do we better prepare our clients, and the work that you do up front and everything like that. When we started working together, this process, I gave you the workbook and everything's prepared, and you had to have all that done. And then I also prepared you mentally as well as physically as to what it would be like to go through this process. And right, remember the pulling teeth conversation?
Yes, I do.
And then the tears I prepared you for all that. Okay, because the more you can prepare your clients, the better chance you can get greater results for them. So and it's and clients out there, please, if these guys like Callum and Jimmy, like, they're the best in the business, like by far, that I've ever met. And I've got some friends who run digital marketing agencies, and no offense to my friends, but they don't think about it like you two do. And so work with them, partner with them, understand that it's not dump and run and relegate your whole social media to them. It's a partnership, and you have to be willing to work together, because it's about combining that confidence, ability into better results. It's not just handing over all your confidence and ability to get better results.
Yeah.
It's combining the two. And you guys, for your ACE hogs, those just listening to you, my brain works in acronyms. And hogs, for you guys, are humble, organized, grounded business owners.
Hey,
who are
I like that.
who are ace at what they do.
Yeah, that
You guys
definitely, yeah.
like we love humble people. We love people who are grounded, and and you need them to be organized. So if you have a humble, organized, grounded business and you're ace at it, those are your ace hogs, because you can help them reach beyond what they think they can and achieve far greater results.
Did you hear that, Cam, or are you doing something else? Yeah, Cam's nodding his head over the other side. Cam's over here, and he's heard that, and he's like, yeah, nodding his head profusely. He can see that. So we got Andre. He's just saying, great combo, guys, but I have to run. Have my phone. Have to phone my mum. Fair enough. It's
mum, you call your mum. That's right.
Oh, look, especially in the UK, like they're going through a pretty rough trot at the moment,
100%.
And same with the US as well. If there was ever a time to really think about and care about your extended family and or family, it's now. Like I read a statistic the other day that they reckon in the US, 56,000 people will die in January. That's a crazy number when you think about it. And it's a whole MC. It's like a whole Subiaco, or the new Perth Stadium. It's like full of people. It's nuts to think about the numbers. And
if you put it filled Optus Stadium and then said everyone here is going to be killed today, or a day, or a week, that's how many people are dying just alone in that one. I mean, there's in all areas of the world, there's a whole bunch of people who are. So I'm empathetic to that, but just to put that number into context.
Yeah,
like that's
a lot
huge.
of people.
Yeah,
and that's why I'm so grateful. As much as our biggest first world problem is the fact that we have to pay more rent
Yeah.
I said that to Pauline the other day. I was like, our rent's gone up $100 a week, which is
Yeah.
really annoying. Because quite frankly, we never budgeted for that. But I said, Pauline, that's our biggest problem right now. I said we have a business, it's growing, it's stable. Like we're doing well. Kids are healthy. I said our biggest problem. I said there's people in the US that can't even leave their house right now, or in the
Mm.
world right now, they can't even leave their house. There's old people that are just dying in their homes because they have no one, no one's checking on them, and no one wants to venture outside. I said it's like, yeah, perspective is always important to have, and you should never discount. This is probably the biggest thing I learned from dealing. I've had several of my friends in the Navy maybe pass away from their own hand. Um, and I was speaking to someone the other day about this and talking about, but there's people worse off than me. And he goes, you should never think like that, because your problems are your problems. Their problems are their problems. And, all because your problems aren't as big as someone else's don't mean that they're not important problems to have. And, it's just sometimes perspective is important. And, I think, yeah, if we all had a little bit more perspective on some of this stuff, the world would be a better place, I suppose. But yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think so. Like, guys, like I think, we were probably on this. I would argue we were probably on this maybe 6 months, 8 months earlier than we probably maybe would have traditionally seen someone like Dave for this kind of thing. We're probably are we on the smaller end of clients, Dave, that do what you do?
Yeah, well, my ideal clients are anywhere usually between 5 and 50 employees. So
Yep.
you guys are just not at the small end. You're right in the sweet spot. How's that?
There you go. So like, I think it's, like I was saying to Dave when we agreed to this, it's like, I don't, we do good work, right? Like we do good
Yeah.
work. We get good results. We got plenty of, I don't want this business to suffer or like lose over a technicality, or, we get to a point where we scale up and we haven't pinned down this stuff because we've then hired like 4 or 5 people that aren't a fit. And next thing, the work suffers or something gives. I'd rather have this in place while it's easy to manage and easy to develop this and develop, and grow. And then we can look for people that have the same values. We can look for the people that align with our vision,
Yeah.
and it makes that process so much easier. Because it would suck to get to 5, 6, 10 staff and be like, oh, actually, kind of needed Dave like a year ago or 2 years ago, instead of hire him now because we've got staff leaving or clients have left us because we're
Team.
not.
Oh man, stop using the staff word.
Oh, team. Sorry, team.
Team.
But it's so true. But yeah, it's thanks so much for coming on, Dave. I
Oh, man,
obviously this is. I'd love to actually get you on formally at some point, and I'll tee it up, and I'll actually try and get a few people in here because I know a lot of people are asked, like the people that know we're doing this have been asking about how it's been going, and I can never articulate it as well as you do. So I think it'd be worth booking in something a little bit more formally and actually walking through. Maybe we'll try and get a couple of people to jump on and just ask specific questions about the
Yeah,
process.
mate, let's do it. I'd be happy to do that. We can bring yours back up again, and we can just talk about the science and magic of it rather than the actual
Yes.
the content or the context of it. And then people, if they want to jump in, can ask questions about it, and I can answer and sort of plant some seeds about what they could do to create their own and all that sort of stuff. Like what you have now. Just to wrap up with that, and I'll let you get on with your stuff here. Is that every business should be able to answer the 4 key questions, like, right? And then, but everyone in your business should be able to answer them in the same way. And the 4 key questions are simple. Why does our business exist? Which is your purpose. What is the problem we're here to passionately solve in this world? Second question is, how do we uniquely think about solving that, which is our values? Not just your normal corporate rhetoric, but how do we uniquely think about solving that problem that we're passionate about? And then the third one, which is your vision, which you've got there, if we've been solving that problem passionately through the lens of those values, that unique thinking for 10 or 20 years, what's the impact to our world in terms of our clients' world, the people we choose to serve? It's an impact statement. It's not about having 10 My Online Guy branches all over the things or franchisees. It's more about the impact statement of you living that purpose through the lens of those values. And then the last thing you need to do is, which we didn't touch on this, but which is your mission, is basically, well, then who do we need to become as an organization in the next 3 years to start creating that world that we see? And when everyone in the
Advocates and
organization can
facilitators.
answer those 4 questions in the same way, you have your narrative completely formed for your business.
It's oh, it's so true. I forgot about the mission actually, but that's
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
you know, the mission's the next 3 years, and we want to become advocates and facilitators of forward-thinking strategies. Probably the single most used phrase I use out of all of that when I talk to
Yeah.
clients, because forward-thinking strategies is what it's about, and it's what we specialize in is the out-of-the-box, thinking about what will work not only now, but like, what are we going to do in 2 years, 1 year, 6 months, 30 days from now, looking ahead and going, because otherwise, why are you paying for the experience?
Yeah.
I've been through enough of this to know that X is generally going to equal Y, and if it doesn't equal Y, well, we'll do Z. It's just why you go down that path. But Dave,
Yeah.
it's been great.
Hey,
You ticked a big box on my thing.
Well, it's good, yes, because pushing you to do some more of this sort of stuff and your accountability, and mate, it's good to see that you're actually out there doing it. And it was really an absolute privilege to be able to participate, buddy. So thank you for allowing me to jump on, and to everyone
Of course.
comments and stuff like that, mate. I was sitting here Friday afternoon. I had a couple of things I wanted to get done, and I was just about to go and chill out and relax for a little bit, and then I thought, you know what? Saw you're online. I thought I better have a listen to what he's got to say, and I'm glad I did.
Oh, I appreciate that, guys. Circle Leadership is Dave's business. Just look up Dave Clare. That's probably the easiest way. There's a lot of information out there. Like, he's done a lot of work. Like, that's how I sort of, I did my diligence before we spoke, and I think that's like anything. Do your diligence. Don't just to take what we're saying to heart. Go and look up Dave and see what Dave's about. And if he resonates with it, I just encourage you to reach out to him, have a chat. And worst case scenario, you'll come away with a few ideas and concepts. Best case scenario, you'll have a fundamental effect on your business like it did us. So
what I'll do, anyone who's listened to this, I'm just bringing it up here, the link.
Yep.
Just make sure I've got the link right. No, I'll find it. I'll give it to you, and you can put it in the comments afterwards. I'll offer a free 30-minute whiteboard session. I always do 4 a week. I have 4 slots available every week to do a free 30-minute whiteboard, kind of like what you and I did when we first chatted. Anybody wants it, no obligation, no sales pitch, no nothing. You just got an idea about where you're at and you want to whiteboard it with someone, I'll give you the link for it. You can go book one in on my site. And
awesome.
then anyone, we'll put it in the links here later, so anyone wants to come back and go, okay, yeah, love to.
Yeah, and if you missed the link, just hit me up. Dave will send me the link as well, and I'll link it. I'll post it to you. Take that up, guys. It was really good to get a bit of a look inside the crystal ball before we actually committed to anything. And I appreciate Dave offering that, because most people like to hide this stuff behind very expensive walls. But it's a big commitment. Like I was saying, it's, as Dave knows, it's a big commitment. It was a big commitment for us to take this step, and I felt confident doing it. And I'm glad we did, because I'll mention. I haven't mentioned this yet, but I've had almost 20 proposals to do in the last 2 weeks.
Wow.
And I've gotten 6 of them. So it's been, and basically all I've done is shifted the way I approach talking to them about it and talking about the maze. So one of the best things one of the clarisms Dave gave me, he maybe not have done it as a conscious thing, but he mentioned about this maze, and I use it all the time. And feel free, if any of my agency friends are watching, mention it to your clients. But I basically go to most of my clients now and basically say, SEO, or marketing, I should say, not just SEO, but marketing is like one big maze. You have a whole bunch of entrances into the maze. That's SEO, ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, direct marketing, PR, and then you have the exit out of the maze is the client's ambition, where they actually want to be. And most agencies have like 2 or 3 entrances they take into the maze, and then they go through the maze, realize it's not going to get to the end result, go back to the start, try something else. So I've been going to clients and telling them, actually, the best way to go about it is to work out what the goals need to be, which most of us do anyway, but then working back through the maze from the end to the start. And the clients love it. We do it anyway, but to articulate it the client in a simple way like that, the clients just visualize it, and they go, okay, well, it's actually less about what it costs and more about what we're going to achieve. And if you sort of can show them the path through that, then the cost is less of an issue too. So that's been the tangible thing I've taken away, dollar thing that I've taken away so far. It's made a few dollars for us.
Mate, that's great. Well, you're showing people how to reverse engineer value rather than just starting you're not a spray and pray. Well, hey, you know what? Sounds like you should do SEO. Let's just do SEO first. And we're not getting the results of that. Well, actually, what you should have done is improved your website and your links and your. So when you reverse engineer it like that, then you're actually going to find the right path to start. And then based on what you want to do and based on that, look, we should start with just a simple Facebook page, or a Facebook ad strategy, or whatever it might be. Mate, 100% the best way to go about it. And kudos for you for actually doing it, mate. Like I can challenge your thinking and prompt and prod and push and pull, but you still got to walk, mate. So good for you.
Exactly. And that's what I'll qualify with this too, is like, don't expect it to be a set and forget thing. Like Dave's there to help facilitate it. It's not to, he's not there to do it for you. I think that's the biggest thing that you qualified with us, is like, you've got to put in the effort. And I really feel like it's one of the few things I've done where the amount of return I'm getting on it is based on the amount of effort I'm putting into doing it. And, like you're keeping up with my intensity and you're keeping up with the pace that I want to work at, and vice versa. So like, I think that it's the same, any partnerships like that. And, but it's nice to know that, I can definitely see where the return is going to be on the time and energy and money, I suppose. Callum just said, I'll just quickly end on this, but Callum was like, bingo, I don't refer to it as a maze, but I know what you mean. When you show them where they're meant to be, where you are meant to start, when you show them where you are meant to start, they get it. Yeah, definitely. It's I've always tried to articulate that, but as you can tell, I like to add a little bit of fluff and a little bit of, I like to put nice edges on really sharp objects. And
we add value by removing things that don't, Jimmy. Remember that, right?
I come from an industry, agriculture is an interesting beast, because, we're talking about $1 million machine. A harvest is worth $1 million, and they care about what radio it has in it. And I'm like, guys, it's $1 million machine. You should care about what it can do production wise, not whether it has a nice radio or not. I said, you can put, for $1 million, I can put whatever radio you want in there. But, sometimes, having the nice edges is sometimes what people care about. And, but then there's clients that just care about the nuts and bolts, the dollars and everything. But, it's just a throwback to my previous career. And, it always used to crack me up when a farmer was like, so what seat covers does it have? And it's like, whatever you want, mate. I'll put whatever seat covers you want on the track. Okay, let's do it. It's like, that's all it means. It all matters.
Sheepskin seat covers, mate. No problem. Whatever you want.
Some of it's interesting because coming back to value, right? Like, how's this? So I actually did several deals so we always used to take a portion of the profit, and then, we might buy the farmer and his wife a night out at the Crown or something. We usually allocated like $800 to $1,000 towards something for them. The single best thing I ever did was the wife was with them, and she hinted that, this tractor bloody better work well because we're not getting a kitchen because of it. So the husband had said, instead of upgrading the kitchen, we're going to buy a new tractor. So what I did is I bought her, so I was at a house, and she had this like gaping hole where a dishwasher should go. So I used that money and I bought them a dishwasher. And oh my God, I was like, I said, look, because I was like, when I was talking to Clint, I was like, mate, you got plenty of crap. Here's a little gift for the wife. And I gave her, I bought her a dishwasher and said, look, obviously you're not getting a kitchen, but hopefully this helps. She was in tears. She was like, in the 40 years, like they were an older couple, like she was like 46, 47. And she was like, this is the first time since we've been farming that
Older
anyone's
couple.
actually cared
Jeez,
about.
mate, I'm older.
Yeah, and they're going to be customers. They're going to be customers of Bokeman's for the rest of their farming career. You don't forget
Yeah.
things like that. So it was just amazing. Sometimes people's perception of value is, and he appreciated that because he appreciated that I listened and knew that he was copping a lot of heat for not doing the kitchen. And so it's
Man.
sometimes perception of value is different to everyone. And just an interesting anecdote from agriculture. And $1,000 dishwasher can sign up a $600,000 tractor. It's it's amazing sometimes, that kind of thing. So
Hey, those are literally $600 for a $600,000 tractor. Those are the one percenters.
yes, 100%. And
And then
he'll
it's
go to
got
the
nothing to do with you adding value. It's got to do with you actually listening at a much
yeah
deeper level to the human element of what was going on in that, because you didn't listen to about the business need, you listened about the human need and the impact of that decision on the human need of that relationship. That's what you
yeah
did. And once again, which is what makes you unique the way you look at things, because you do the same thing for your clients here, and which is what I was trying to say earlier before, is you understand at the human level, not just at the business level, the
yeah
impact that you're having on the lives of people.
because it's a pretty black and white transaction. It's like he's got more property. He needs a tractor. It's like, okay, well that's we're talking about the finer details, but like he can't afford to get divorced. He can't Nick, that's the kind of thing that will separate a couple. So
Oh, yeah.
we've done it before where there's been farmers that have been dealing with Bokeman's for like 40 years because of some stoush that happened like 35 years ago with another dealership, where they've been like, oh, my dad was telling me that we'll never, as a family, we'll never deal with that dealership because my dad 45 years ago couldn't get his radio to work and they wouldn't help him. And, that's the kind of things that people remember. And
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, she's now down at the tennis club telling all her friends, Jimmy at Bokeman's, he's a really nice guy. They would never be able to articulate what they liked about it, but they're like, oh, he's a really nice guy. He's a, tell your husbands to deal with him. He's a bloody nice guy. That's probably what's missing in this industry, I think, more than anything else, is that, there is zero human touch. It's like everyone's trying to automate what they do and just trying to completely remove that from the equation. But you're dealing with people's that have employees that they treat like family. The whole business is tied to their personal livelihoods. You can't just like separate business and personal with these guys. They're so intertwined that if you don't think about the personal side, the business, like, it's never going to work, because it's like next thing there's a disconnect between the two and the way you think about it, and it's almost as worse as doing nothing. So I think I wish more people would do that kind of stuff for people, because it helps. It makes for interesting stories, firstly, but secondly, it's just it's a nice feeling when you see that because the farmers know that dishwasher's come out of his pocket. Like, obviously the dealership's not paying for that dishwasher; it's come out of the margin of the deal, but they don't necessarily care about the cost of it, because it's like, it's the gesture, isn't it? It's not the, it's got a lot more effect coming from us than a husband buying for his wife as like a consolation prize for not not getting the kitchen. So I think that's just an interesting story from agriculture that not many people get to hear. But people are willing to make $1 million decisions based on things like that, or what happened 45 years ago between two families, or it's amazing what people make decisions on, because it's at the end of the day, it's a thinly veiled guys. We know they need the machinery, and they know they need to buy it from us, but it's like also like, okay, where can you make it all come together? Oh, g'day Kevin, how you doing, buddy? Got a new person in here. Now, who is that in that picture? You're of their pedigree to know. That looks like maybe a famous singer. Can you see it there? It might be
Yeah.
Kevin actually.
Well, it might be. It looks like almost like Kevin Bacon with long hair, but the
But
yeah,
yeah, no, not sure. But thanks for joining us, Kevin. It's much appreciated. We're just chewing the fat here today. We're just I'm just sort of reflecting, and then Dave came on, who I've been working closely with Dave. So make sure you go back in time and have a look. Callum, stop rambling, Jimmy. I love it, mate. The human touch. If there's one thing I'm known for in this industry, it's freaking rambling, and I hate the fact that I'm known for that. But look, if you're gonna ramble, at least tell a good story, right? So
yeah.
I
Totally.
think
But also, you know that you're rambling, and you still keep rambling. So hey,
it's called being able to talk with marbles in your mouth underwater, and that's I never pretend not to do that. It's part of the charm, I suppose, but it's definitely a thing. And then we have Jimmy. So I don't know. Okay, I'll just give a bit of background. I don't know if anyone in here is into racing or drifting or anything, but Jimmy is an absolute beast when it comes to taking a car and moving it sideways. He's got a Twitch channel. So he teaches people how to drift firstly. But if you ever want to see how a professional actually drifts a car, watch some of his videos. It's absolutely amazing. One of our clients is a drift school, and I went to the drift day, and Jimmy took me around, and it's actually crazy to think how much control you can have over a car, and how close they drive together. It's absolutely nuts. So yeah, guys, make sure you check out Jimmy's Twitch channel if you don't get a chance.
if Jimmy's listening, he'll probably know my friend Andrew Murphy.
Andrew Murphy, Jimmy, check in. It's a pretty small community, isn't it? Like everyone kind of knows each other's in the motorsport space. So, and he has a lot of world records on like e-sims. So like Project Cars 2, which is a driving simulation. He's got several world records driving sim cars. So yeah, check his Twitch out if you get sort of bored, because he's a very cool cat. He's got the best laugh that I've ever met as well. So it's nice to see that. But we got another new person, Anders. Thank you for joining us. Kind of new here too. Look, guys, ask away. Like this is also question and answer time. It's here to like the agency. There's a lot of people that are starting agencies or in the agency space that maybe aren't as far along as someone like myself. Even Callum, there's a few guys in the chat that have a lot of experience as well. Jump in. Here we go. So what would you do if you had to start a business in Cuba? Come on, Dave. You probably have a better idea. You've started a lot more businesses than I have.
Well, the first thing I would do if I was going to start a business in Cuba, let me just sort that out.
Oh, here we go. He's getting the pack out.
Well, if I'm going to start a business in Cuba to start with, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I have some really great cigars. All right, so
he loves a good stogie.
Yeah, like I guess it depends what the business is in we live in a global economy. There's 7 billion people across the pond. So if you're going to start a business in Cuba, well, firstly, you need to understand the Cuban economy or the marketplace, the rules, the regulations, the types of business, if you're just going to find a way to live in Cuba and run your business from Cuba or start a business in Cuba, I guess it's a different thing. And then once again, is your target market in Cuba or, it's a very open question. So for me, my first thoughts in my head are, well, hang on, what's the business and why Cuba? Now, I know I would love to live in Cuba because I love my cigars, and so I have no problems with that.
Okay, so my headphones have died, so I cannot hear you anymore. Say something, Dave.
Hello, check 1 2, check.
No, I've lost you. My headphones kicked the bucket, but it sounds like you gave a good response. I was reading your lips.
Yes, it's all good. Yeah. So,
but yeah,
just hold for a second. So Kevin said, would it be smart to get Italian investors if you were Cuban? Well,
you keep there. You keep chatting. I'm just going to get these sorted.
Yeah, no worries. So Kevin, once again, it depends on what business you're starting. I would want to understand more what business you're starting in Cuba, why you're choosing Cuba, who your market is, where are they, what's the problem that you're here to passionately solve in the world? Is it something for Cuba? So if you can still hear yet, and I love Cuban cigars too, mate. This is the Andalusian Bull, by the way, La Flor Dominica, a 2013 Cigar of the Year. It's mint. It is my #1 favorite cigar right now. Yeah, and I actually had my honeymoon in Cuba. My wife and I were Canadian, but we had our honeymoon in April in Cuba many years ago. So absolutely love Cuba. Mate, so if you can tell me what kind of business you're thinking of starting and why Cuba, then that'd make it a lot easier for me to give you some more insights from my perspective. I can't see any comment coming up at this stage. So yeah, it's an interesting thing. Here we go. Canadian-Cuban relations. Great. Well, I'm a Canadian and I had my honeymoon in Cuba, mate. So I'm not sure if Canadian-Cuban relations is about setting Canadians and Cubans up together. Or is it kind of like, okay, a watch company, handcrafted Swiss watches. So why Cuba then? Is it just because that's where you want to live? Great. Can you hear us, Jimmy? We can still hear Jimmy now, but I don't know if he can hear us or not yet. Jimmy, can you hear us?
Oh, I gotcha. Can you hear me, Dave?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay,
Gotcha.
so the reason he wants to start okay, so here we go, getting clearer now. So Kevin wants to start a business in Cuba, a watch company of handcrafted Swiss watches, but the Cuban watchmakers are well known for high quality craftsmanship. So here's a funny question for you, Kevin. How are you going to have handcrafted Swiss watches made by Cuban people? Then they're handcrafted Cuban watches, not Swiss watches. Or are you bringing Swiss people into Cuba to make them in Cuba? Because that's where I'm confused. Otherwise, you'd be very cautious about calling them handcrafted Swiss watches, because they're not. They might be Swiss-styled watches. Okay, Swiss style. There you go. Cool. Okay. So if you want to create handcrafted Swiss-style watches in Cuba, yeah, Italian pizza gets made by Chinese people. Well, because pizza was created in China. Actually, it was invented in China. I'm pretty sure it was China where it was invented. It wasn't Italian. The Italians just claimed for it. And unfortunately, as much as my dad is Swiss, he makes brass knuckles. Good for you. And I'd hate to stake claim that Canadians created the ham and pineapple pizza for some unknown reason. We started putting pineapple on pizza, and we should be ashamed of ourselves. But anyway, that's a whole other debate for another time.
Yeah, I think Anders might be trolling us a little bit.
Yeah, it sounds like that. Yeah, good on you, Anders. But anyway, so Kevin, seriously though, I would just want to understand what the employment regulations are in Cuba. I'd want to know what the, obviously your ability to generate income there from depending on where you live and your citizenship, and do you need to have somebody else part of it? Because also Cuba, things work a little bit differently in Cuba to start with, in the way that the country is run. It's a very there's the cars that drive around, they're all different stickers on them, and you may own or you may have a car, but you have to, if someone's standing at a thing, you have to stop and pick them up and drive them somewhere. It's almost like Uber. It's like Cuba. It started in Cuba. Yeah, it's quite fascinating. Have you ever been to Cuba, Jimmy?
No.
Yeah.
It definitely looks like I like a good old car, and it looks like there's a lot of them floating around.
A lot of Skodas there. There was a lot of old American cars which were there pre the Cuban crisis and all that, and now there's a lot of Russian vehicles there. But the cars, there's certain types of cars that have different stickers on them, and if you're blessed to have one of the vehicles, and depending on what route you're on, you have to stop and pick people up and take them along the route that you're heading. Like if you've got a car to drive you to work, you have to pick people up along the way.
Because it's like socialist.
Yeah, so very socialist in terms of that sort of stuff. So Castro and the way they organized it, it's kind of like a real shared economy in a lot of ways.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Fun fact about Cuba.
You'd want to do a lot of research first. Like if they got the best talent in the world, like this is the cool part where I love what you're thinking, because I challenge for this. in this global economy, especially with where we can do all this stuff online, we should be looking at sourcing the best talent from everywhere in the world. Okay, Kevin hates socialism. Well, unfortunately, you might need to understand that could be part of what you're going to deal with if you want to set up your business in Cuba. So take a look at it. It may have changed since I was there last, but that's the way it was when I was there. But yeah, there's a lot of research you'd want to do. But hey, mate, if that's where the best talent in the world is, you want to find a way to access that talent, and you want to build the best quality Swiss-style watches with the world's greatest handcrafted, the craftspeople in the world, and that's where they are. Then go for it. And it might be fascist. Well, mate, you want to take a look at that. And you got to understand what it means doing business in a fascist or socialist country, whichever way it is today.
I think philosophically, the particulars of this particular circumstance, maybe, I don't know the particulars, but like I think it brings up a good point about, from a marketing perspective, starting a business in an established market. Doesn't matter if you're selling Swiss-style watches in Cuba, or selling a clothing brand in an activewear brand in the activewear market. There's and I think that's the fundamentals are the same. It doesn't matter what country you're in. It's like, establishing the brand, establishing the awareness of the brand, establishing the values of the brand, establishing the values of what your particular brand does that others don't. The USP is probably the critical thing. So why, we're going to use this as an example, but like, Swiss watches in Cuba. Why would someone buy a Swiss style watch that's made in Cuba? Say, as an example, if that's the one we're going to go with. Yeah. There could be a big community of people that have and again, I don't know, but like a good community of people that are a Swiss heritage. Like, so one of the drop shipping principles we used to use for determining, so when I used to do drop shipping, determining marketing demographics, so how you were going to actually market to, on Facebook to a particular demographic, instead of just picking age, gender, and those kind of things, you would actually go, okay, so let's say I'm selling a horseshoe, a 4-leaf clover neck chain. It's like, okay, I'm selling to the US market. So, okay, so who are the kind of people that would buy this widget? So like this horseshoe, the 4-leaf clover necklace. It's like, okay, well, there's people that believe in superstitions. So, okay, so like, let's say, okay, so who are some people that believe in superstitions? The fishing community is really big on superstitions. Their wives, their partners are. There's a big Irish community in the US. Where are they located? What things do they like?
New York.
Doesn't have to be. Yeah. Well, this is where this was end up getting really down. But it's not necessarily about people that didn't necessarily just like 4-leaf clovers or are Irish. It's like, what things they like, where do they hang out, what other things they like, what kind of music do they listen to, what do their families do, what do they do for a living, and then that's how you determine the market. And then you can, once you really know the market very, very well, the rest of the marketing is actually easy. It's just about finding more of those people. But that's the thing. That's the thing with it, I suppose. So anyway, I think the chat's getting pretty. It's getting a bit hijacked there, but that's cool. It's I see it for what it is, and
this is the beauty of live streaming.
Oh yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, thanks so much, Dave, for coming on. It's really been appreciated. If anyone's looking for the help that Dave's given us in really clarifying our mission values, because we're no different to what I was just saying then. Determining your market and determining the demographic is really important. So if you want to do that, make sure you check out Dave over at Server Leadership. He's offered that 30-minute whiteboarding session. I'll put that link up. I'll probably post it. If anyone wants to grab it, message me and I'll send it to you as well. So thanks very much, Dave, for your time, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
You too, buddy.
And you said you got the spa now, hey?
The spa?
Yeah, don't you have a spa?
Oh, yeah, we got a spa bath. We also have the pool and everything. Yeah, so and the Joondalup golf course back here. Yes. So. Cheers,
man. Mate. I'll catch you later.
See you, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. See you guys.
See ya. Okay, so what I'll do quickly is, yeah, thank you so much, Dave, for coming on. I was going to cover that off. That was on my list. Yeah, I just want to quickly cover off a few of the other things that have been happening with the agency over the last year. Bit of reflection, reflection is important. It's been a year now, and I think we can definitely take stock on what we've done this year and take it into next year, especially with Dave's help, and work it. So, from a numbers perspective, I don't know if there's any agencies tuning in here. How do you find a blind man? Old Robbo, here he is. How do you find a blind man on a nude beach? All right, come on, tell us, Robbo. I'm curious now. Dad jokes abundant. Is he coming? Anyway, while he's doing that, I'll keep talking. So, yeah, last year we did well. We ended up doing 33 websites, which is a lot considering the amount of like the team and the size of it. 33 unique websites I'm going to add as well. We don't do cookie cutter sites. We don't take templates and modify them. We build all of them from scratch. So we had a few hairy situations where we probably had too much on, but the team managed to pull together. It's not hard. How do you find a blind man on a new beach? I don't know. Come on, Robbo. Tell me. I'm ready.
That's the answer. It's not hard.
How do you find a blind man on a new beach? I don't get it. I'm sorry. My dad joke skills aren't on point yet.
What's it?
Yeah, I get you. Cam just had to point it out. Well played, Tim. It's I like it. That makes more sense now. But yeah, on that note, 33 sites. It was it was hard. Richard, I agree, man. So Cabinets is a local business here in town. Yeah, if you're a dad, I don't know why I didn't get that. I know, Robbo. It's sometimes you can overthink this stuff, but I try and work on the kid jokes at the moment. One of the ones the boys like at the moment is what does a seasick dog say? Ruff, ruff. They love that one. So we got Wolfgang here. Hey, online guy, where are you from? So I'm based in Perth, in Western Australia. Have a small to medium-sized digital marketing agency here in Australia. What about yourself? Where are you from, Wolfgang? So yeah, we 33 websites we did last year, and a lot of SEO. We had our ups and downs with that. We had a few tight timelines, and we had to evolve our process because this time last year we were doing things a lot differently. I was taking a lot more. It was less about the margin and more about doing good work. But to be sustainable, we needed to think more about the margin. So we've been steadily increasing our prices. We were grossly undercharging for the first couple of sites. And now we're at this point where it's pretty close to the mark. We charge around $7,000 now for a website, which is good. Is good value considering the amount of content we produce as well, because we always aim to produce the content and the copy on the site. So Wolfgang's from Germany. Welcome to the live stream. What do you do, Wolfgang? So that's been a big challenge for us. Is it takes us approximately 80 hours to produce a website. So we're trying to reduce that number to 60 by improving our processes. The first year was a little bit of it was a bit up in the air, just because it's we need to establish ourselves. We need to get the portfolio, and I'm just going to bring up the website for a sec, because I've got a few examples of websites that we've done. We've done some doozies. Well, I think they're doozies personally. Tim, good effort with the business, bro. Look forward to catching up soon regarding work. We need to get on another cruise, man. That's what we need to do. I seen the other day a 10-day cruise is $500. So that's definitely worth the risk of flying over and doing it. But we did a lot of sites. I'm just going to share my screen quickly. This is our website here. We did a lot of a lot of our sites are on the website. We just have little examples here, but you can see these are some of the ones we did. Christie's Landscapes was a good one. That was a landscaping website we rebuilt. He's doing really well. This is a psychologist site. We've done a very diverse set of websites too. It's not just one industry. This is Stringer. This is like an e-commerce store for motorcycle parts, roofing contractor, financial firm, electric bikes. We've done the whole. Well, that one's in there twice. We've done a whole plethora of different websites. So we got a very good diverse look into different industries, because obviously my background's agriculture, it's the Navy, it's content. So it was nice to work, and basically what we were doing is, or what we do is, so say someone wants a landscaping website, I'll sit down with them for a couple of hours, ask them all the questions we need to do to try and determine what they need and what we're going to write in the content, and then we just leave them be. We try not to put too much of the onus on the client. We try and take a lot of that responsibility ourselves, and we build the website, build a first draft, and then they just put their input in as they see fit. So that's been really good, and it's been working well because we've been able to get really good results. So this year, going into this year, like I said, we need to get from 80 hours to 60. Otherwise, we need to increase our price. And I think $7,000 for a website is probably on the higher end of what people are willing to pay locally. So I think we will have to just get better at what we do. And that means processes. So we're working on our processes to improve the onboarding, improve the offboarding, coming up with a system that will allow us to show clients elements of websites, and then we can just pick the elements that they like and put it together. That will definitely speed the site up. So that's something we're working towards. We made the migration to ClickUp, which is for managing like project management. We were before that using Asana. Last year, like sort of midway through the year, we dipped our toes in what's called ClickUp, which ClickUp is a tool, and I'm just going to bring it up here, is a tool designed to replace a whole bunch of project management tools. And it's the best way to think about ClickUp is it's a little bit like Lego. It has a whole bunch of features that are available to use, but you've kind of got to build it out because you're given a blank slate, and they have some templates. But we end up hiring a consultant to come in and actually help us develop our ClickUp the way we needed it to work as an agency. And that was one of the best things we did. Her name's Pip Meacham, and she's, let me find Pip's website for a sec. Pip Meacham. Lovely, one of the most beautiful souls I've ever met. Project Box is her business. And she done amazing work. She basically took our convoluted mess of a website, of our project management system, and made it functional and work. So this is Pip. Guys, if you run an agency and are looking for someone to help you with that side, make sure you talk to Pip. She's actually really, really proficient, and she's really fast. So go talk to Pip. She does a really good job. So that was one of the best moves we did. It aligned everyone and got everyone singing from the same hymn book. So now what we do in the mornings now is we actually go on and we basically review all the tasks that we have to do for all the clients. So that's been really good. That's been a great addition. I'm not comfortable yet just showing people our internal ClickUp, but I do use it for our CRM system as well, so keeping track of what clients we've spoken to and things like that. So that's been really good from a business perspective, having that ClickUp and it working really well. So that's I would recommend, if you're looking at a way of managing multiple clients, check out ClickUp, because it does what Trello, Asana, Monday, it does what all these other other project management tools do, but just does it better, in my opinion, and does it all in one place. So yeah, definitely worth checking out. Quite cost effective as well. I think it's like $80 a year per head, which for the project management space is really quite good. So that's been a big shift for us, is getting better at project management. Profit first. So guys, if you're running a business and haven't explored profit first as a finance philosophy, I suggest you do. It's a book written by Mike Michalowicz. It's got an audio book as well. And fundamentally what it does is, we were running into this issue where we were generating profit, not profit. We were generating an income and generating revenue, and we had spare cash in our bank. But I was too scared to take it out because I never really knew if we needed it long term for operating expenses. So what Profit First does is it's a philosophy that works like buckets do for like the Barefoot Investor and things like that, but for business. So basically what you do is you take all of the revenue you generate and you put it in one account, and then you use ratios to divvy it up into different accounts. So like, let's say $1,000 enters our income account. So like when someone pays their invoice, it goes into the income account. That then gets separated with ratios, and our current ratio I think is 54% operating expenses. So for every dollar that comes into the business, 54 cents of it goes straight into an operating expense account, and then the rest is divvied up into taxes, owner distributions, which is our salary, and profit. So what it does is you can only ever have 100% of a dollar. So if you can't operate within that 100%, 100 cents of the dollar, then there's something fundamentally wrong with the business. So we worked off 54%, so 54% comes in, and that's what we pay all our bills. That's what we pay the staff with, the team with. That's where we pay all our bills out of. Then like I said, we take our income from the owner distribution one. Our taxes are put aside, and then we have 1% that's dedicated to profit. So worst comes to worst, even if we have no money in our account, we're still technically profitable because 1% of all our income is going into a profit account. What it did though, I suppose, is it made us more comfortable making decisions because we knew what our operating expenses needed to be. And if we wanted to earn more money as a business, as in like me and Pauline wanted to earn more money, we needed to generate more revenue because the operating expenses had to fit in that 54%. So if we had more operating expenses, we had to generate more business. And it's been great, especially as a new business. It's been great to make sure that we always have money to pay our staff. We had an $8,000 BAS bill come in the other day. We had cash put aside for that. We were just able to pay that straight away. And we are comfortable taking the money out of the business because we know that our operating expenses are covered. And what it's done subconsciously is it's made me a lot more conscious of what we spend our money on in the business. So our operating expenses, I'm always trying to operate out of that account. So it makes me more conscious in going, oh, wait a minute, do we really need that $200 sign out the front? You know, we got to pay for it. So it's really good. So if you've got a business and you're umming and ahhing about what you are going to do, or if you're never confident that you're taking the money out, or it's feast and famine all the time, I think it's worth looking up Profit First and just giving it a look. It may not be something you do forever, but it does definitely get you in the mindset that you got to live within your means. And, I think sometimes when people start these agencies, like for full transparency, we turn over probably 50,000 a month as an agency. Anywhere between 30 and 50 on a bad month to good month. People have this misconception when it comes to agencies that, you make $500,000 a year, you guys must be minted. It's like, nah, it's like 54% of that is just coming out in bills, and then we got tax as well. I would argue that it's actually better to work for an agency than it is own one. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, it's nice to have the freedom. And this is real talk. I feel like it's important to be transparent and open and honest about this because I think it's probably the biggest misconception I see. People don't appreciate how much money goes in and out of an agency like this. And we're not even that big. I shudder to think how some of these bigger agencies operate because, we have quite a low staff load. Like with what we do, the biggest single expense is team costs, salaries, taxes, super, things like that. I can't imagine an agency with 15, 20 staff, how much their overheads must be with staffing. I can't even comprehend it. We don't even have a big headcount here. And it keeps me up at night sometimes. So I think that's obviously and it's a misconception I carried in too. I'm not going to lie. Once I was in it, I got a pretty rude shock. But it's, we stabilized the ship and we make enough to live now. But yeah, we're not millionaires by any stretch of the word. We're not even we're not even making six figures. We're making like a, you know, I think we're sort of on target to make 65 something grand a year. Man, there's jobs out there that they do 10 times less hours and earn as much. So yeah, look, nothing to sneeze at. That's a, you know, good income, but you got to remember, me and my wife are splitting this too. So technically we're making 30 grand a pop. But you know, we're lucky we have a bit of savings and we keep our expenses really low. So that's what I would say to anyone that wants to start an agency. It's like, just don't think that because you earn $500,000 or $50,000 a month, you're going to put $50,000 a month in your pocket. And then to earn the 50, you know, like, okay, realistically, to earn the $50,000 a month, you have to have the staff to help you. You can't, not in the agency space anyway, run an agency that earns that kind of money without help. So, you know, just keep that in the back of your mind. It's, sometimes it's better to get a stable salary and work than have the stress. And admittedly, it's cool because, like, you know, on a Friday, I can have a beer, same with Cam in the office, or, you know, if we want to go out somewhere, we can just do it. But I give a quote and a customer thing. Yeah, it's Cabinets has just written something here. Richard, what do you got here, mate? I give a quote and the customer thing. You might have to elaborate on that. Not sure what that means, but yeah, it's anyone in business knows this, and it's probably not something you get into. Oh yeah, sorry here. Think you would. So Richards goes, yeah, customers think you get every cent. I know, and it's something that I'm actually very transparent when it comes to our costings, because I don't see the point in hiding it. You know, we do good work. Yeah, we charge a lot, but I can justify the cost. Like when we look at how much it actually costs to run this place, and I explain them profit first. A lot of them are, they just see the money, the $7,000, and go, oh, Jimmy's going to get a new car out of this. It's like, no, actually, you do realize that, you know, we're charging like less, you know, it takes us about 80 hours at the moment. We're charging less than $100 an hour to do something that only very few people can do to the level we do. You know, like, that's why I was saying it's like a professional service. So you wouldn't question your accountant to, you know, you're effectively giving us partial control of your livelihood, and you wouldn't go to your accountant and go, oh, you charge too much. You know, as long as you get the results with the accountant, you know, which is not getting audited, you know, it's fair trade for value. And I think that's the same with what you do, you know, at Cabinets there, you know, like, yeah, you charge fair for in doing cabinet work and that kind of thing, cabinet making. People don't appreciate the amount of time, effort, and labor and just time goes into doing this stuff. And they look at their and I imagine you see this, they look at their kitchen and go, oh, that's not right. It's like, well, it wasn't intentional. It's definitely people's perception of what things should be worth is so skewed. They're willing to pay $120,000 for a Land Cruiser that's, I would argue, is probably worth like 15 grand in actual bits and pieces. But then, you know, you charge $10,000 for a new kitchen and they're like, oh, it's too much. It's like, wait a minute, you do realize how much time and effort and stuff goes into building a kitchen. So yeah, I think, yeah, people's perceptions are skewing. So Clarence asks, would you get funding if you knew how, like debt, selling equity, and partnerships? Yeah, well, I have. I used to have a startup, so that's another piece between bits and pieces. It failed miserably. It was called Shortles. I wonder if I can play the video. It might give everyone a bit of an idea of what Shortles actually was. A lot of people don't know this, but yeah, I had a. It was never funded. I did go out and try and find funding for it, but it failed miserably. The idea just didn't have legs at the end of the day. But I don't know if this will work, but I'll play it if it works. Let's have a look. Portals. It is a story portal. Oh, and my computer's frozen. There we go. Okay, so let me just see if I can bring it up. Oh, yep. Okay, so let me bring this up for a sec, guys. You might get a bit of a chuckle out of this. Okay, I don't know if the sound's going to work, but let's see if I can play this. It may delay a little bit, but yeah, look up. So this is Jobbable. Shortles was another. Jobbable was my main. This is the one I put a big emphasis on. I don't know if the sound's working. My headphones are off, but yeah, it's a flashback. I'm going to grab a beer while we're doing this. I will do that. Anyway, that's the end of it. But yeah, so I have a bit of a unique insight into this because I went out and I tried to get the funding. So Rich has asked, what's the concept? Basically, it came out of agriculture. So the biggest problem you have in agriculture is actually not growing the crop. It's not anything like that. The farming practices have been around for hundreds of years, right? But what is actually the issue is staffing. And it's even worse now because there's no backpackers. But back then it was like you basically need to you're putting someone in $1 million machine that has no experience driving it. So it's not necessarily about what they've done in the past. It's about character traits that make a good worker. So Jobbable was a job platform that connected people looking for casual employees and staff. But it was based around, not around resumes or anything like that. It was based around their personality and based around whether they were a good fit culturally. So like if you were a German backpacker, you would get online, you would fill out your Jobbable profile, and then you would actually post that. Then people looking for you would actually find that profile. A bit like, I don't know if any of you guys have seen couchsurfing. It's basically how couchsurfing works. It was where the concept came from. Went out there, got funding. I had a few businesses and a few, like it was a two-sided marketplace. I had a little bit of traction, and then I went out to get funding because at the time it was all bootstrapped. So I did that, and then they started picking holes in the concept, and then I eventually sort of came to a realization that I couldn't scale it to a level where I could make a exit out of it. So that was the platform. Everyone that used it liked it. It just it was just the wrong time, maybe, I don't know, but there's other platforms that do this now as part of their business. But what it actually taught me about funding and equity is that it's not all it's cracked up to be. Like, what's the best way to explain this? So I've thought about partnering up with others, as in merging with other agencies. I honestly have. There was a period there about a month or two where I was like, actually, I should just tuck in with someone else and, basically do that. But the thing firstly, I think someone would find it very difficult to work with me because I like the idea of having the ability to make decisions on the fly. I'm a bit impulsive like that, but also full transparency, I've put about $60,000 of my own cash into this business to start it. It's starting to pay back now and starting to pay dividends, but that's what cost that. So anyone that's watching that's got an agency, that's what it costs to basically start an agency, and start it properly with branding and developing and really doing it properly, right? So we've put about 60 grand into this agency. What I get out of that, what I get by doing that and not going to someone else to borrow money or partnering, is the fact that now the whole thing is mine. Where I have full creative control of this agency and the direction I want to take it. When you get a partner, when you get selling equity or get into debt, finding someone to buy in to your concept and get equity, is you lose a part of that autonomy. And which works in some situations, but I just didn't think it was a fit for me. And I found that when I was fundraising for Jobbable, is that I just didn't want to give up that autonomy that I had. I wanted to start this business and grow it the way I wanted to, but when someone was going to angel invest, they were talking about how the direction they wanted to take it and where they wanted to grow, and I didn't really want to go in that direction. So I learned my lesson. I think it's a hard one because not everyone has the cash to be able to just self-fund something like this, and I think in that particular circumstance it shouldn't put you off starting an agency. But yeah, you do lose a little bit of that. And the other flip side of that too, and the risk is that if you partner with someone that's not a fit, it's so hard to get out of that agreement and relationship. It's basically like you're getting married. And you hear horror stories all the time of people that partner up on an idea and they don't realize how different they are and where they want to take it until their business is too big. And then one of them's having to buy the other person out. So I'd just be wary of that. It's definitely something you see in the agency space a bit, is people merging, and I've thought about it. You know, like, it's hard work. I'm lucky I've got Cam here. You know, but it's like, there's other agencies out there I look at and go, well, you know, if we both did what we did together, we would be like killing it. Like, we would have like all the resources available to take on national brands. Because like right now, with the way the agency is, Officeworks walked through this door, I couldn't even service them if I wanted to. We can service sort of statewide and like small national companies, but anything bigger than that, we have to pass up. And we've made a conscious decision to make that not our market. So there's actually no need to get huge amount bigger than we are. We're just going to get better at what we do. But yeah, I think if your goal, Clarence, is to get bigger, scale up, be a national size agency, a national tier agency, it definitely speeds up the process because not everyone has the 150, 200, 300 grand to get an agency to that scale with the brand presence it needs. Because full transparency, I got freaking lucky with the agency branding. My online guide, the logo and everything like that, it helped us a lot. And I got pretty lucky that I was able to take it to market. So most of that 60 grand was taking their brand to market, actually, and tools and subscriptions and the office and all that and the computers. But the brand is what's separating us from the noise. You know, but money's, you know, that's what I would say, is that it's actually really hard to start an agency like this. You know, people look at it and go, wow, you've grown so much in a year. I was like, yeah, we poured a lot of fuel on the fire too. Like, it didn't just grow. Like, I didn't just turn 0 cents into half a million dollars in revenue. It was like we poured like a tenth of, 10% of that revenue was my money. You know, so like, I think people forget that. But like, you know, it shouldn't stop you from people starting an agency. I think you just have to be realistic about the growth and the fact, you know, you're not going to be able to do 30 websites in the first year if you don't have the cash to be able to fund it. Yeah, I think that's a great question, though. I think a lot of people like the idea of, you know, getting funding and stuff like that just as a pad. But, you know, we are at a point now where we have full control of the business, 100% control of the business. We can make decisions on it. I don't have to, if I want to make a decision about something, I can make a decision today and it's a decision. There is a lot of value and power in that. But then also the flip side of that is that we carry all the risk, which is the flip side. So yeah, just a double-edged sword, I suppose. But yeah, so that's, that's something that we've been doing. The outreach. So I've got here outreach. That's probably coming this year, but like, marketing, we did a big push. Like we lent really hard on our referral network this year, like as in 2020. Most, if not all of our clients came from word of mouth or referrals, which is great. It means we're doing good work, but it's not scalable. So that's something we're going to improve next year, is being less reliant on external marketing. Referrals and leads, and more reliant on repeatable external marketing like what we do for other clients. And I would just like to qualify that it's not through lack of trying. Like, what I found, interestingly, and I'll just share my screen again, is we actually rock from an SEO perspective as in the agency. And I'm going to just quickly show everyone this because again, you came here to see the real talk from an agency. So I'm just going to log in to my, please, if you see this, don't judge me. It's a group tool for multiple tools. You know, I spend $6,000-7,000 a year on tooling. So if I can cut costs by sharing tools with others, that's what I'm going to do. So when this loads, if I go in like that, Hopefully it loads. It may not load. All right, I'll go here. Let's have a look. Let's have a look here. It's not loading. The internet's playing the game. There we go. That's loaded. So, just want to show everyone the growth of the SEO of the agency and how little inquiries it generates. I'm doing it as a labor of love because I think it's important to be able to show people that you can rank your own stuff. But so this is the last 12 months here, and that's the growth in impressions. The clicks, they're starting to ramp up. Admittedly it's been a year, but like you can see the growth in impressions. So you can see how many people have actually, what we're showing up for and things like that. We've had a good ramp up. We rank for some pretty competitive keywords now. If I just look in here and just see what some of the keywords we show up for. Digital agency Cottesloe, blog marketing in Perth, WordPress course. Oh, that's interesting. I might have to develop a WordPress course. That would be an interesting one. But like we developed a strategy that's helped us rank in several like niche areas. So like I wonder where we are, if we are on here, it may be just lying to us. Yeah, our SEO is doing well, but it's not generating the results I thought it would. Not from an agency perspective, and it's probably because there's so many people ranking for agency stuff. It doesn't matter if we rank number one. I think people just would rather ask their network and they get word of mouth than lean on search results, because you can say anything on the internet. But if I just go in here quickly and have a look at this, online guys. So this is a tool, if anyone's interested, this is a tool that you can use to look from the outside in at a business. So if I do this, we can see, and I'll just shrink my head for a sec. We can see this is the agency. Anyone that knows SEO can see that straight away that what we're doing is working. But this has been our organic search growth in the last year as an agency. Oh, frozen. Might just, I think it's frozen. Oh, there we go. So you can see that was the last year's growth. If I just switch this to 1 year, you can see the agency's traffic growth and keyword growth in the last year. Obviously our UR and DR are very high because of the way we got about it. But that's been the ramp up of our growth. So from March, basically, all the way up to, we went from ranking for 3 keywords, all the way up to now ranking for almost 500. So I'm just gonna have a look at the keyword sets that we rank for. When it loads, the computer's dying a slow and painful death. But there we go. So, you can see Mandrill web design, number 1, should be, not saying that we shouldn't be ranking for that, but like online advertising Mandrill or Mandrill stuff, SEO company Perth, we're just on the top page. SEO services Perth, I think we're on the first page for that now. SEO in Perth, first page. Yeah, so we rank for competitive stuff. I just don't think people, there's so many people that get burnt by SEO, they just don't search it. They'd rather ask their friends and family to do that. So what we're going to do this year is a lot more direct outreach. So I created a case study on one of the best results we've gotten so far. One of the longest clients I've had. His traffic in the last year has grown 600%. And had a 100% increase in the amount of inquiries he's gotten. And I'm reaching out to companies that are similar and showing them that. And we've had a good response from that. So we're going to do a lot more external outreach this year. And then basically, really this year is going to be about consolidating our growth. When Dave and I were talking about it, the ship's stable. We've plugged all the holes in the boat. Now it's time to sail it off into the ocean. So this year is really going to be about consolidating our growth, making sure that our processes and everything's in place to make sure that we can scale properly and sustainably, and just make sure that we're here in 5, 7, 10 years, because I think a lot of agencies are just flash in the pan jobs where they last a year or two and then they're done. I don't want to have a business like that. I want a business that's going to evolve with the times and everything like that. And some of you have probably been reading in the news about Google threatening to pull out of Australian search if the media bargaining code goes through. And as much as I don't like big tech, I think what the media bargaining code is and represents is terrible. And I think that it's a stupid idea personally. Those digital entities like News Corp and stuff had several years head start to evolve to the digital space and just chose not to do it. And they should be penalized for that. You got to think too that if they disappear, then other people will take their place. And I don't necessarily agree with Google dropping the bomb on the country and going, well, if you don't agree to what we say, you can't use this anymore. I think that's wrong too. But we'll adapt. It's going to fundamentally affect our business model if Google pulls out of Australia. But we'll adapt. Next thing, we'll all be learning DuckDuckGo and Bing and things, and we'll learn how to rank on those platforms as well. So we just evolve and adapt, roll with the punches. So that's been really good. Things I'm grateful for last year is just the network I've built of people that are cool people, basically. We had a lot of people I met this year that have really given me perspective. Guys like James Norquay. Oh, I should have mentioned with the outreach, working with Will Wang. Will Wang he owns Growth Labs and is one of the best direct outreach copywriters on the planet, if not definitely in Australia, but if not the planet. He's well renowned for what he does. Been managed to do a bit of horse training, and him and me and a friend of mine, we're doing a mastermind with him, and we're getting exclusive access to Will and working on our strategies, how we're going to take our direct outreach to market. So yeah, reach out to Will Wang at Growth Labs if you want to step up your business. I think meeting guys like Will, James Norquay, getting to meet Clarence, guys like shout Charlie over at Shout Out, Callum, Pip. So many people that I've met doing this in this year that have really helped us. And I like to think I give value back in return and just help out where I can. But yeah, there's definitely a need for more collaboration in this industry. So just doing our bit. But anyone I didn't mention there's countless people that have helped us, and I just try and help in return in exchange as fair value. So that's been really good. But yeah, I think I might finish this up. It's 4:30 already, so I've been talking for 2 hours. But guys, do you have any more questions? I'm an open book right now. I've had a few drinks. You're going to get you're going to get the straight shooting from me right now. So if there's any questions that you have about having an agency or running an agency or agency life, just ask them, or forever hold your forever hold your peace, I should say. Because I think everyone tries to pretend to be bigger than they are, and tries to be what they are. Everyone, it's a natural instinctual thing, but I try and be a bit of an open book when it comes to this. I'm open about our revenues. I'm open about, how hard it is, how good it is. There is perks to running an agency. I'm not going to lie. It's a pretty cruisy, not cruisy is probably not the right word, but I get to sit in aircon all day, which is a nice perk. I'm sure anyone that's on the tools would swap that in a heartbeat. But the flip side, I spend 10 hours a freaking day on the computer. It's concentrating, not just, typing away. It's like when we're building websites and we're doing SEO, it's like we have to concentrate. So I get home and I'm buggered. But that's the flip side. I'm definitely not complaining, because at least I have a job. There's a lot of people right now that are struggling to find work as it is. So definitely can't be complaining about that. Also, if anyone knows anyone that wants to get into this space, I'd love to have another person here to learn from Cam and myself a little bit about the agency life and whether they want to treat it as a career. So if someone's got a kid that's looking at a career path, it's one of the most rewarding careers I've ever had. you're always solving problems and it's constantly challenging. So it's a really good career for someone that's maybe a bit tech savvy and, maybe a gamer or, if your kid's a gamer and they want to get into a space around PCs, it's a bloody good job to have. It's got customer facing elements to it as well. Yeah, it's not the worst, but I'm just going to do a quick sweep to see if there's any more questions. If not, we will end it here. Let's have a look. No questions there. Okay, we just had a question pop in here. So Clarence mentioned, just a comment, there is a micro initiative, business initiative called NEIS. You can get a grant to run a business from the government. I've been trying to find other initiatives that haven't only found any suitable ones so far. I think I've heard of NEIS. Our local Make Place mentioned it as something they do. I actually can. Should we go to Make Place after this?
I don't have time.
Okay. Well, I might head there after this, but it's hard. It's a hard, people. I don't know. This is probably the biggest problem with our government, and I'm tarring this with a brush, but Israel, right, has the highest density of entrepreneurs on the planet. And the reason it does is because the government has a whole ecosystem dedicated to supporting entrepreneurial endeavors and business endeavors. They want people to be self-sustainable. Our government doesn't do a very good job of that. They have those initiatives, but the way that they're done and they're designed is just not conducive. We have some of the smartest people on the planet in this country, and yet it's so hard to get funding for startups. It's so hard to get grants and things like that. And they're out there, but it's just so hard to do. In Israel, it's like, there's plenty of business, government-supported initiatives to get entrepreneurial endeavors off the ground because they know that they can become an exporter of technology. They can be like Silicon Valley is. It's an interesting thing I've given thought. So it's a bit like Mandurah, Mandurah with its economic complexity. There's no actual, there's no reason why Mandurah just has to be a town that's hospitality and tourism and retail. It's just by choice. I don't want to disparage the town because I love Mandurah. We moved back here and it's, it's where we'll raise our children. But, you look out the window and there's 20% unemployment out there. And it's just because the town's like doubled down and tripled down on tourism, hospitality and retail. Why not try and drag location independent businesses down here and build incentives for businesses like myself or internet businesses, things like that are location independent but want a good lifestyle to move down here, build the infrastructure to support that. Because it's one of the nicest places on earth, this town. We have some of the best resources available to us for recreation. And, it's just like you could, what's stopping a big e-commerce player setting up shop down here, and hiring staff. So I have my own personal opinions on that, but it's a tourist town. It always will be, but, we've doubled, tripled, quadrupled down on it. And it's same with Perth. Perth's just a mining town, it's a town to support mining industry now. But, there's so many good initiatives coming out of Australia that just need a bit of a leg up to compete internationally. And then we have the brand awareness and the economic stability to really support thriving technologies. We just choose to not do it. But anyway, that's not my place to say it. How is a country with this much political stability only have 2 or 3 unicorn startups, Canva and Atlantis and Finder potentially, but how does a country with so much economic stability and political stability only have a few unicorns? That doesn't make sense to me. Especially with how much economic freedom there is to be able to grow a business and start a business. I don't know. I just think that there's something fundamentally wrong with the approach we're taking. The Australia's doubled down and quadrupled down on housing, made that. But anyway, I'm not going to get on my soapbox and have a rant. Just observation. But guys, thanks so much. I think I might end this here. But thanks so much for tuning in. Hopefully you found some insightful insight into this. And yeah, I will tune in next week. I'll have a little bit more structure in next week. This was just to get back into the swing of doing live streams. Next week, yeah, not sure what I'm going to talk about, but yeah, if there's anything that piqued anyone's interest, I can elaborate on a little bit further. I'd love to do one on profit first because it's fundamentally changed our business. Jimmy, thanks so much, mate. Twitch, get on there, everyone. Check him out. He's a funny cat. He really is quite entertaining. And yeah, if you ever want to see how a real driver drives, that's the channel to tune into. It's called Gremlin Motorsport. Let me find a link. So if you like Twitch, give him a follow. Add him to your list of Twitch streams you want to follow. This is him here. That link looked like it didn't work, but yeah, check him out. Oh, there it is. So check him out, Gremlin Motorsports, because it's yeah, it's quite entertaining. I get on there every now and again just to harass him a little bit, but yeah, the guy can definitely move a car. So thanks very much, guys. I'm going to finish this here, and hopefully everyone enjoys their weekend. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all